Spoilers, I've beaten the campaign.
James.
I went to a preview event, I played it. I came, I saw, I conquered. And this, I really am a big fan of this opening. The other thing that I like a lot about this game, coming from a pretty small team relative to the Battlefields and the Call of Duties of the world, this is Respawn. And the sacrifices they make, like this, I love this artistic style of this 2D caricature, almost cartoon background we'll see coming up here. And that's there's a stark contrast of this 3D element onto it. You can see this background right here is like just this beautifully, almost hand-drawn skybox.
Yeah, it looks so good.
And this is how the game starts after the tutorial. So we have skipped the tutorial, which just has you running a nice obstacle course.
But there's some neat stuff in the tutorial as well,
Sure.
too. Not to spoil anything, but yeah, it's how they jump into it is kind of cool.
This is our the Keanu Reeves of Titanfall. His name is Jack Cooper. Oh my God! Get me out of here!
Get out! Calm down, James. I'm gonna give you a special serum
Administering morphine.
to calm you down. So I've only played this first level,
Sure.
and so far from what I've gathered from it, there's a lot of neat mechanics. I like how they introduce you into it slowly.
Sure.
Nothing overwhelming, but from a lot of the people that I've heard have played it, it's very fast. It's a very, very fast-paced game.
Sure,
from the
it's
standpoint
even,
of
I would
ability.
even classify it as quick in terms of the brevity of the campaign. By the way, if you have any questions, go ahead and tweet at us at at IGN with the hashtag IGNPlaysLive, and we'll do our very best to answer those questions. Here comes a sweet drop pod that crashes and kills all my friends. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This intro definitely reminiscent of Starship Troopers, if you remember that, kind of getting off the boats, and then there's just the overwhelming Klendathu bug force.
Yeah, it's fighting a bucket-load of specters.
Yes.
These are from the IMC.
These are robots.
These are the enemies which you will be fighting.
Hey, where can people go to see the full history of Titanfall?
They can go to IGN.com. There is a full history of Titanfall story up there, and everybody, a lot of people said that the original Titanfall didn't have much of a story. There was actually a fair amount of lore in there. I think the bigger piece of the puzzle is, was not told maybe in the best of ways in the original.
Or the most
but it is
conventional
there.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this single-player campaign, I was a really big fan of it with my time with it. Start here. This is kind of the. Oh man, what are these guys called? I forget. They're a mercenary organization that works for the IMC, and they're a very charismatic bunch. You have the one who's a little bit similar to GLaDOS from Portal. You have the one who's definitely an analog of Arnold Schwarzenegger, who we'll see here in a minute.
Yeah, that's what I thought as soon as I heard of
Richter.
Richter.
You have to get out of here. What are you doing?
Leave the bodies.
Prepare for Titanfall. So here's, this is our captain who we did the tutorial with, developed a little bit of a relationship. There's not a lot of characters that you develop a relationship with in this game, with the exception of your Titan there, BT, who you can see being eviscerated brutally.
That is
By Richter.
that's hard. That's hard to watch.
Sure.
But yeah, I will say that the thing that we just skipped, they do develop in a very quick, fast-paced kind of way, a fairly strong relationship. I thought, like even in these moments that we're about to watch.
Yeah, it's this senior member. He's a captain. You're just a lowly rifleman grunt, and he kind of takes you under his wing and says, keep working towards it. Someday you will be a pilot. He encourages you. What are people saying in the twat?
In the chat, the Twitter chat. A couple of them scrolling through here.
So Richter, kind of nervously pacing around here, just cut that man's ear off, and then we have his boss. Part of, my goodness, I cannot remember the name of that mercenary organization, but they are kind of the antagonist. Also, they don't really care too much. They're just mercenaries, and I think that that's a really interesting dynamic. But the overarching theme in the campaign is gameplay first. The story, while interesting at times, and while entertaining in the whole, and I think it does do a good job of developing a relationship, it definitely focuses on you having these interesting gameplay experiences. And every single level is different than the one before. It introduces the new element. Now, unlike something like Castlevania or Metroid, those elements are not persistent. You basically get rid of it at the end of that level, and each one presents you with a new kind of Portal-esque challenge. So here we have BT. This is our Titan pal.
Thanks, BT, saving us there. I will say that even looking at the other Titanfall game in multiplayer, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the background all the time.
Sure.
So they did a great job with the multiplayer levels and just, you know, just looking at what could be. So it's cool to see these, you know, these creatures and all these environments come to life here in the campaign.
So once again, CJ, where can people tweet their questions to?
They can tweet us at IGN Plays Live. I mean, a couple of comments here. Some great Titanfall questions are, yeah, what your guys' hair is great. I mean, that's, you know, comments about our hair.
That's a
so
given.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. Then any questions about Titanfall
Are also appreciated.
Even
maybe more so than the hair comment, though. I do deeply
but it's
appreciate
nice.
that.
It's positive, so I appreciate that. No, definitely, James has played through the whole campaign, so we non-spoileristic questions.
Just kidding.
For sure.
So this is a cool look at the PlayStation share button. And that's a new feature.
Saving a game for later. He wants to relive that intro moment there.
I do. Here's our helmet. Helmets, the Titan pilot helmets. Pilots are almost the Jedi of this universe, by the way. They are blessed with these suits that confer these superhuman abilities. Master Chief. And no, this is very different than Halo. But there are pilot helmets kind of scattered around the world. Actually, talking a contrast to Halo, the way that you go about doing things in Halo is you have this overshield and you kind of, you know, are fighting enemies, and then when your shield goes down, you get behind cover. Here, it's all about mobility. And it's all about, plays a lot more like Call of Duty on foot, for sure. That is definitely not an unfair comparison.
If you notice in the top left-hand corner, it's very cool. What happened is basically you were given the suit just in that moment, and so I like how it's trying to configure your abilities, and they're kind of coming online slowly. So everything from, you know, your double jump and all those things that you can do later on in the game, it's really cool to see that they kind of incorporate that really, really subtly.
Great. So we need to find a battery for our friend over there, BT. Shout out to Brandon Tyrell, who
yeah, exactly.
the entire campaign I was just thinking about him.
I know.
He's known as BT around the office.
Yeah.
So one of the first things you'll learn playing Titanfall is that you don't need to have a pistol equipped at all times. In fact, you can have 2 primary weapons, which I did just there, picking up the shotgun. There are these kind of little holograms that show you how to wall run. Now, I don't need no instructions to know how to rock personally, but for those of you who do...
He's got game.
Yes.
Duggan's got game. One of these questions here was asking, will the original Titanfall ever be coming to PS4? And I would go out on a limb and probably say not. It was one of those things, I thought people were initially hopeful, but this is basically what Titanfall 2 has become. You know, it's the extension of... Oh, you're okay, you're okay. So, I mean, obviously not confirmed, but I would say unless some kind of, you know, remastered HD way along the line comes down. I mean, their primary focus was the second Titanfall and getting that, you know, on multiple platforms.
Sure, and let's talk about the changes between the two. Obviously, a single-player campaign is present in this one, albeit a relatively brief one. But in multiplayer, there are a handful of changes, though I think the thing you'll notice immediately jumping in is how similar it is. The changes that are there for quality of life to reduce what the developers called the chaos factor. Now that's, it's a divisive topic. I remember there was a Reddit thread when the beta was happening, or the alpha, where they felt as though the Titanfall 2 didn't bring along the best parts of Titanfall 1. And the developers reacted very quickly by reducing the Titan timer. It's not actually a timer, it's a meter anymore, but reducing the time to acquire a Titan, kind of scaling back some of the pilot damage abilities so that Titans last a bit longer. And I will go out on a limb and say that in multiplayer, Titans survive longer than they did in the first game, if for no other reason than we were talking about this earlier, the rodeo system.
Yeah.
There's a whole revised rodeo system. When you jump on somebody, it's got a preset outcome, so you don't have to worry about somebody just bringing you from 100 HP to 0, 100%. Instead, they get a battery, which you want to tell the fine people about batteries?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you get a chance to steal the battery when you rodeo an enemy Titan. In the original game, you have an anti-Titan weapon if you were off the Titan, not rodeoing in order to hit them. So you still have that, but when you rodeo a Titan, you can pull out a battery. You can then deposit that battery in a teammate's Titan. So it's really neat because the Titan battles that you now have back and forth allow the pilot to basically put his Titan into auto mode, take a battery, deposit it in a teammate's battery, and you can go back and forth like that. So it's kind of nice because initially, and yeah, having talked to them directly too, they were saying it turned into a situation where you get rodeoed, then you potentially would either jump off
Electric smoke, right.
Electric smoke.
Which you needed to have. I'd like to point out you needed to have that equipped to your loadout.
Yeah,
in Titanfall 2,
exactly.
you just have electric smoke by default.
And that's good. So it is one of those things, yeah, it turned into a situation where it was a 50-50 moment in Titanfall multiplayer where you jumped off and you engaged usually in an on-ground battle to just shoot each other as pilots. And then you either jump back in your Titan, so they wanted to eliminate that. So you do feel it in the gameplay, like it's still when somebody's on your hull, you hear you hear the footsteps, and you know it's okay. You're going to lose some damage in your HP, and you look. So it's a different dynamic. So it's different, but I don't mind it.
So I would say that it's not optimal. It's not great. There's somebody on your Titan, but it's not devastating.
Right.
It's not like it's going to kill your Titan. You have to stop everything you're doing, jump out, try and shoot him, or pop electric smoke, what have you. I think that that's a lot more clear-cut. And in general, I think a lot of the elements are a little bit better thought out. Another one being the smart pistol, which, you know, it's a divisive topic. Some people really like it. I am not one of those people. I think it's totally cheap, and I think it undermines the rest of the gameplay and all the rest of the armory they put in there, because that is a weapon that, it's funny, the defense of that is always, well, you didn't play Titanfall at the top competitive league. And you're like, no, I didn't. That's absolutely true. However, there's not really an officially supported top competitive league.
Yeah.
Anyway, Titanfall 2 is absent of ranked play, which is a notable exclusion. But anyway, the smart pistol manifested itself in such a way that in 9 out of 10 games, or the bottom 90% of the player base would prefer that to another weapon, or at least it would be very prevalent. And it was always just a feel-bad moment when you got killed by it, and you felt as though you got the drop on the guy or was doing a better job with aiming, and it was just kind of this skillless weapon. So anyway, now it's a pilot boost. And pilot boosts are these kind of akin to an Overwatch ultimate, if you will.
Gotcha.
So as you're charging your Titan, when you get to 40, each one has a different activation cost, but when you get to 40%, 70%, 80%, you get these boosts, whether it be amped weapons, seeing people through walls, getting a battery, and a smart pistol. You could also get a smart pistol, which now has limited ammo and takes your secondary slots, and then you lose your Titan, anti-Titan capabilities. So it's great. I think it's a nice trade-off.
So burn cards, those are out.
Burn cards are out. Yeah, that was a mechanic that I don't think anybody really got behind. Consumables are rarely fun in that capacity. Tell me, CJ, what doth my kingdom think of me?
What do you guys think of James? Tweet him. That's it's straight up. No. You're doing good. I will admit. You know, how many times have you played through the campaign now? Just one time?
Just once.
Okay. Do you have a favorite weapon, a specific gun that stands out? Have you kind of gravitated towards sniping? Or
they tend to do a pretty good job of like presenting each different grunt with a weapon that is not something that, you know, if this were another game, you would be picking up a weapon that you have and trying to get ammo for it. In this one, I tend to find myself running out of ammo a lot, so I will just pick up whatever is there.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. I'm into it.
I mean, overall, people are wondering, you know, will Titanfall compete with Call of Duty? You know, that's a pretty valid question. Obviously, this, you know, game is made by a lot of the same creators who are involved in, you know, Call of Duty, you know, 4, Modern Warfare 2, all that stuff. So you definitely feel a bit of a throwback, actually, in the way the controls feel. Obviously, you know, there's wall running and there's a bunch of different game mechanics, but for the most part, like, the movement of your character, how he kind of positions himself, like, feels very, very...
And the shooting. I think the gun feel feels very kind of magnetic, where you kind of lock on somebody and then you just... Here's a flatline. This is a very interesting weapon. It's kind of like the Future AK. It's got quite the kick to it.
Oh,
Fires all over the place.
I don't think I've seen them use that one yet. Yeah.
It's the final one you unlock in the multiplayer, though... It's funny, they did a good job of not putting in any very samey weapons. Like, all the SMGs behave very differently, so if they were going to put in one that's behaves the same as another one, they decided just not to do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different customization options, we'll get into that later, but I think that this, in contrast to Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, I think that we can see it's very prevalent, different people's reactions. Now, I'm curious to see how many people end up buying Infinite Warfare for the amount of negative flack that game has got. Got a lot of very negative reception in the beta. A lot of people had problems with the gameplay, problems with the rigs. And this is a game that I think is sticking to its guns, no pun intended, with its multiplayer, where it has this dynamic between these nimble, swift Titans, pilots and these huge lumbering Titans, and that, you know, I was somebody who played Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 and loved it, and at that point I felt that the experience had been had, and I moved on to other, more innovative series. And I think this has a whole second layer on top of that. You know, you have the You have the pilot versus Titan gameplay. You have the pilot versus pilot gameplay. You have the Titan versus Titan gameplay, which is a lot like an ability-driven action game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that is what has me interested in this game, as opposed to something like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, well, I will say that, yeah, I played the beta over the weekend for Infinite Warfare. Good. I didn't get the sense that I was really playing a Call of Duty game, which was really odd. Like, the mechanics felt a little bit clumsy. The gameplay and the mobility just didn't feel the same. So, personally, and again, I'm a huge fan of all the Call of Duties, and I've played them ever since the original on OG Xbox way back when. Yeah, I will say, like, the original Modern Warfare 2, and even Black Ops 1 and 2, I really, really enjoyed. But it is one of these things where I'm excited for what this is, because I think a combination of the Titan mechanics, as well as I think when you get into the team game, and I haven't really had a chance to play it last night just for a little bit online, that dynamic of playing with your teammates where you can, put the battery in the Titan and then, group up as a team of Titans, or maybe some pilots and some Titans, like the rodeo.
Sure.
I always call teammate rodeo brodeo. Actually, a bunch of buddies of mine were saying that in the original Titanfall. So I like brodeoing, a buddy Titan, and having that ability where you can, shoot guys on the ground, or you can use your anti-Titan weapon on top of it, and then decide to call yours in and leave them in auto mode. So there's a bunch of really cool things to do, I think, that, and it's neat how every campaign and, multiplayer game kind of ends up developing its own kind of, weapon set and things like that, that it just evolve over time. So, yeah, it feels really good. That was the main thing. And, I mean, that's what they were going for with this game.
Yeah, and there's some modes that I think are much stronger than others. I think Bounty Hunt and Attrition are clear contenders for the primary mode of the game. I think Last Titan Standing is a neat inclusion, and similarly, I think Pilot versus Pilot is whatever. But the cool thing is that there are loadouts that support all of that. If you end up playing this in a Pilot versus Pilot only capacity, I question what you're doing with this game, but you can do it. You can forsake your secondary anti-Titan weaponry for a pistol or a shotgun, and it does allow you those kinds of things, as well as certain pilot boosts I would imagine would be stronger in certain game modes.
And I feel like they included a lot of those game modes in there to, kind of appease the masses in a way. Obviously, that was one of the requests early on with the original Titanfall. Like, oh, the mechanics of the pilot are so good, I don't want to worry about the Titan. I just want to do pilot only. So they did end up incorporating that into the original Titanfall, but almost like actually after the game had died down. It was way later.
That was close.
Recovery. Yeah, so from that standpoint, I mean, those game modes are definitely in there. But if you're playing Titanfall, it is a game that's designed to be played as pilots and Titan in one sort
That's
of
when it plays best.
So,
it's analogous to Battlefield 1 playing Conquest, playing oh man, what is that called? I'm not gonna remember it. It's like the new version of Rush that goes between maps. But anyway, there are a couple of dominant modes in Battlefield as well, where you have the vehicles, you have all this stuff, and that's better in my opinion, and the game lends itself better to that than it does something like a Domination, where it's just
straight ground.
It's a deathmatch. But that's cool. That's all in here. It's all included.
Maybe a quick question to the chats and the internet out there. Are you planning on buying Titanfall 2?
Sure.
And if you are, were you original Titanfall 1 players? Obviously, this time it's on PlayStation 4. It was only last time on PC and Xbox One. So hopefully there's a new group of people playing on the PlayStation 4 for the first time. And so, yeah. How many of you out there are planning on buying Titanfall, and for which platform are you planning on purchasing it? If you want to tweet at us and let us know. You were playing on the PlayStation 4.
Yes, I was also playing on the PC during my multiplayer session.
Yeah.
That all was quite good. It's a game that I think does its artistic style very well. I think the graphics are definitely nice and serviceable. It's not a Battlefield 1 of the world, but that's not something that I've ever really been super concerned with. That being said, man, we have some pretty beefy rigs here at IGN, and I was playing Battlefield 1 4K 60. My goodness, that was a revelatory experience. I was just like, man, this is maybe going to have a home one of these in a couple of years, and that was just blowing my mind. All right, so here we see our first anti-Titan ordnance. This is the lock-on rocket launcher, which, by the way, I played around at the preview event. They kind of allowed us to try a bunch of different things. They unlocked us all at the level 50, which is the max level without prestiging. And I found that a lot of the weapons that you get at the start are kind of the most versatile and widely applicable. Like the starter SMG is a top-tier weapon, absolutely.
Yeah.
And same thing with the starter charge rifle. which is an anti-Titan kind of laser thing. You can get a instant speed version of it that is just incredibly devastating, and I question why I would ever want anything else. And that was my only kind of gripe with the progression system so far. In terms of boosts, I think that there's a lot of cool progression there, and I think the whole progression system is very well thought out. They have this whole credit system that allows you to circumvent resetting things when you prestige or regenerate, as it's called. And that's really cool. I was telling you earlier that like when you prestige a particular gun, because you can regenerate individual items and reset your progress with that, whether it be a Titan or a weapon or what have you. With guns, you get this cool kill counter kind of straight out of CS:GO, which is something I'm just into that. I think they did a very good job with kind of padding out the progression where it was a little bit light in the first game.
Right. Question here. I was going to read who it's from again. Oh, I am that one guy was asking, what do you miss about the first Titanfall? I'll let you kind of...
Man, the question is, do I miss anything about the first Titanfall? I think the changes they made. I always forget to go where to go here. By the way, I think it's probably under here. Follow the light. That's a good single player game
Don't
rule.
die.
So in the first Titanfall, you could customize loadouts of your Titans, and that is not present in this game to the extent it was in the first game. However, I wholeheartedly agree with the reasoning behind that, and that's kind of the thing that we've seen is they make these changes and people are like, whoa, 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 why are you changing that? I really like that. And then you play it and you're like, wow, anytime I see a Scorch Titan, I know exactly what he's capable of doing.
Yes.
I know exactly how to go about countering him. And it's almost similar to Overwatch, where you see Roadhog, you know, okay, don't get in his hook range. Or you see Widowmaker, you know, take cover, get behind a wall.
Yeah.
So I think that does it better. It's more in service of the gameplay and makes the game better while removing a little bit of customization. I think that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah.
So my answer, read whatever you will into it, is that I really don't miss anything about the first Titanfall that Titanfall 2 doesn't do. There may be something that I'm forgetting. I guess kind of the story-driven multiplayer mode was cool for like a second.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, I'm good with this.
Yeah.
These AI will not shut up.
Maybe just like explain what happened. There's pilot collectible helmets located all over the
yes.
game.
Those are the Easter eggs in this game. That is your that is kind of your greater sense of completion if you want to be a total completionist. And actually, if you're looking for a guide for that, the wonderful Miranda Sanchez just finished her guide and found all of them.
Nice.
Which I believe is a world first.
Tall
so well
order.
done.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know. You can find that on IGN.com.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a great question. It's a really
that is
fair question because a lot of people have been saying, you know, I miss. I'll say the most divisive thing that they've done has been getting rid of the Titan timer. Instead, you have a Titan meter, so instead of seeing, hey, I have 3 minutes, and that's just constantly ticking down, regardless of if you're away from your controller or if you're playing super well. In this game, you have to be pushing the objective, you have to be getting kills, and you have to be doing stuff in order to get your Titan. So a lot of people are comparing it to a kill streak reward. I don't think that's really fair. You do get a lot of it for, or you do get a passive amount every 5 seconds.
Right.
So you get 1% of your Titan charge every 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's slow.
But taking an objective, just standing on a point in like amped hardpoint, gives you 30%.
Yeah.
And I looked over my footage, and the fastest I ever got to a Titan was 90 seconds.
Okay.
Which is
pretty quick.
is a very short time even for the first game.
Yeah.
So we're jumping into our pal BT here. We've gotten his batteries. We had a little bit of a dialogue there with BT. You get these options to talk to BT, and they don't really have any greater meaning.
I was going to say, they don't change the gameplay or the story arc, and that's what I was going to ask you about, and I didn't think they would, but it's cool that
I
you
actually
have
asked
some
the
banter
developers
back
that
there.
because
I know, yeah.
so a bunch of us at the preview event were comparing and contrasting our experience, and we were swearing that BT was saying different stuff to us, and I asked them if there's some kind of like narrative chain, and they're like, no, you just talk to him. I'm like, all right, very cool.
Yeah. I will say a couple things that I miss about the original is they're more or less like you know, like gameplay design choices per se. The ability to jump into the Titan in first person, as small and subtle as that is, it's changed.
It goes to third person now.
It goes to third person. So initially I thought like that whole, okay, I'm jumping in the Titan, and you just like, you know, whether you slid under his legs or you jumped in and he threw you in, it was always first person. So at first it was really jarring when you played the original, like not jarring in the sense of bad, but it was like, oh cool, I'm just getting, you know, into the Titan. Now it kind of jumps to a third person perspective, I mean, they were talking about why they did that and some of those things, even just like a spatial awareness.
Sure.
You get a chance to see.
Yeah, that's a good
who's
point. If
around
somebody's
you
around
when
about
you're
to
jumping
rodeo.
in. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different scene.
That being said, though,
it's a huge conversation that they had though in the studio about whether or not to do that. And I mean, it's like aesthetically, it's very different. You know, so not a gameplay mechanic really that changes a whole lot, but just kind of one of those neat.
Sure, and also you could argue you lose a bit of immersion there. I mean, I played the first one, so I am aware of this. Like right now, it feels as though I'm inside this cockpit and I'm seeing a screen as opposed to actually. Man, I'm just getting toasted here. This is really annoying.
I like how, though, as you jump in and the cockpit lights up, you do see, like, your knees are right there. You kind of do feel it. You're in the, the console of VT, per se.
They do this thing when you first get in the Titan that kind of walks you through the abilities, and I'm like, dude, just give me my gun, please.
Let's roll.
I just want to kill these dudes. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much for the question. Any other questions? Yeah, let us know. I'm stoked for the campaign. I will say that's what we were talking about with the original Titanfall. It did have sort of like a pseudo online campaign that you had to go through, and it was one of those things where there was a narrative, but it was kind of behind a whole bunch of multiplayer stuff, and it was a little bit hard to understand. Obviously, this was on the agenda for Titanfall 1. It just got delayed, I mean, within the context of, I think, some last-minute decisions, and obviously now it's in Titanfall 2. So from that standpoint, really excited about playing this and seeing how it all shakes down. Just from the little pieces I've seen online, the puzzle mechanics and the mobility, I mean, they've really focused a lot on that kind of stuff. We haven't seen a whole lot of that yet in the first mission here.
No, it's pretty standard fare for the first mission. There is something of note. You saw me almost fall off the level a couple of times, and if you hit that river, you actually do die. So a lot of the times you're kind of in this like platforming, the floor is lava scenario. So, and I think that's actually a really good choice. The things that the campaign does well are platforming, and it's innovative in spots with the mechanics. I think it really has a really good sense of the game mechanics that it introduces you to that don't necessarily carry over to multiplayer, but there's a couple instances, a lot of them get into like kind of spoiler territory, and it's one of those things where it's a brief enough campaign that you breeze through it, and you have all these really interesting moments with the gameplay options that they throw at you. Like for instance, in one level you get this arc gun that you can hit terminals with that will open doors. So as you're kind of running and sliding down hills, you have to open doors and go through them. And then there's this kind of reactor mode at the end where you get sent into this room where it's just completely filled with radiation. So you have to hit all of the terminals with your gun, and that takes the form of kind of running in a circle while running this thing. And it's just great. There are much better moments, but we'll see. We'll actually see if we get to them. I don't want to spoil them outright without being there gameplay-wise. There's 2 levels in particular that absolutely steal the show.
Nice.
In the campaign, and everything else seems boring by comparison, frankly.
So
it's so great.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. We did talk to one of the developers, Mohammed, who was talking specifically about how they go into a room and they literally throw all these ideas out there. So that's interesting that you say that, because he was talking about, they call them action blocks.
Action blocks.
Yeah, where they just,
the action block speech. Yes.
They create all these moments, and they spend like years sometimes on some of these like few element designs that we probably run through in about 45 minutes. So it's crazy how you can take it for granted in the way that you're just playing this game and robots are falling from the sky, but to actually have conceived all these things and to put it into play and see it right now is pretty incredible.
And to people who are going to play the campaign, you'll know which level I'm talking about. There's one that stands out above all others, and when I played that level, there's a mechanic that is introduced in it that I just thought, like, why don't I have this for the rest of the game?
Gotcha.
Like it seemed like a really poor choice not to just be like, okay, that's what this game is about now, because it was awesome.
It's cool.
We'll see if we get to it. I'm actually going to breeze through as quick as I can here, and then we hand the controls over for you to take a little spin.
Ooh, I don't know. We'll see. All right, and I'll promise maybe one or 2 deaths. But I don't want to. If you've had lots of practice,
I'm going to try and get to that level as quickly as possible.
Appear noobish, but I will say that the
how are we doing on time?
The mobility. 40? Yeah. Right. The mobility side of the game, I really do enjoy.
So here we go. This is our first. Whoop, that's not what I meant to do at all.
Oh, get back in. There we go.
So we picked up the Tone Loadout. This is a different core as well as a different.
New Titan weapon will be useful.
Agreed.
All right, dude.
The IMC is.
Did you pick it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I go to where's my loadout selection?
Equipped with advanced Titan weaponry, they will be most beneficial to our success.
Right on D-pad. Thanks, buddy. Tone. Okay, so here we go. Here are all the various things. And a lot of
Gotcha.
people have compared this to Mega Man. When you beat a boss, you get his powers. Not necessarily a fair comparison, because you just find this stuff laying around. It's much more analogous to a Halo when you find something laying on the ground.
So did you end up having any experience where you, in the vein of Mega Man games, where there's certain weapons that take down bosses faster, and it does affect
There's a video on IGN of me killing a boss, and killing one of the pivotal bosses in about 10 seconds.
Wow.
The bosses are so incredibly underpowered, and yes, I was playing on normal difficulty.
Okay, that's my next question.
And they say play on hard, but I question how much longer they would really be.
Okay.
The bosses talk themselves up so much, and they end up just being another Titan, like that guy almost.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little bit more difficult, except for one. One in particular is just a fully fleshed out proper boss fight, where I think the other are not necessarily. All right, so at this point, I'm kind of stuck here. I need to go disembark, and I need to platform around and go open up a switch, because the floor is lava for me now, over there.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to go do that this way. I don't have the best weapons for anti-infantry, but whatever. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I will say there's a lot of games right now with similar mechanics, double jumping, wall running. You know, those seems to be kind of staples. Of all the games that I've played, Titanfall does it really well.
It does.
I mean, it feels great. Even the sliding. So that sliding mechanic. So run forward, slide, and then turn around and shoot somebody. Like, there's moments when you first play the game, you'll do all these little things, and you're just like, oh, this feels so good. And I can't remember the last time I felt playing like that.
Sure.
Yeah, it feels really good, and it's hard to place what exactly it is. Like they just nail like the
Yeah, I think the sliding is one of the best elements for me. I'm notoriously not the best at wall running in multiplayer. I kind of just end up going the path of least resistance with getting kills.
Gotcha.
And it works out. Like, I do well, but yeah, I see people hopping all over the place, and then you usually just shoot them. So the thing I'll say about wall running that I have discovered is that it really paints you as a target.
Yeah.
In ways that I think kind of hiding in cover in a building doesn't.
Yeah.
Debate me all you want on that. And then, to which I'll respond, 1v1 me, bro. Because there's a mode for that now. It's called Coliseum
Yes, Coliseum. I saw that online yesterday. Where did I see that? But it's just a bunch of guys jumping around in a space in the air.
It plays like Quake 3
That's
Arena.
so cool.
It's really weird. You get these two projectile-based weapons that are in the game, but they're just totally not used for that purpose. They're anti-Titan weapons, and one's a grenade launcher. And it's just like, it's cool, and you jump in, you're like, wow, this is an interesting inclusion. And then you're also like, why? This isn't like representative of any of the other gameplay in here. So people who are really good at Coliseum could still be totally terrible at the rest of the game, and vice versa.
Some of the chat questions / comments are more of you know, kind of the versus standpoint. Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1. You had to buy one. For campaign, for multiplayer, and they're both releasing very quickly. I mean, as
on the same
Infinite
platform
Warfare,
too,
on the
same
platform, the same publisher. So it's really odd that all these games are kind of releasing really like weeks apart from each other.
That's a much more difficult. You know, as dissimilar as those two games are, that's a much more difficult decision for me than like this versus Call of Duty. For me personally, that's a very black and white, easy to make decision. Battlefield 1 offers a totally different suite of gameplay. Titanfall 2, in terms of its multiplayer, is a little bit more linear with the objective it presents you. The game ends in such a way that, like, you know, you go around, get kills. It's got a much quicker gameplay loop, I think, than Battlefield 1, which is just this veritable playground of World War I.
Right.
Where you can do pretty much anything. You could snipe, you could pick up a flamethrower kit, you could sit in a tank literally the entire game. Battlefield 1 is the best Battlefield, in my opinion, in a very, very long time. And I've been playing a ton of it. But that being said, tonight, 9 p.m. I will be playing Titanfall 2, and Titanfall 2 definitely has my interest there. So,
yeah,
boy, that's a decision that you kind of have to make on your own terms, because it's not apples versus oranges, but it is a very subjective choice depending upon what you like.
Yeah. I will say, playing any of the games, having, especially online multiplayer, the last little bit, you know, having people that you know and play with online, where you're on comms with and you chat and do all that stuff, that makes a huge difference.
I'm gonna run right into my grenade here.
Oh no!
Killed myself. So
mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made.
James Duggan.
If I don't let any enemies kill me, I always
make sure he gets off one solid frag
for honor.
Just gonna cook this. Bam!
Can't take me alive. So I would say from a very initial impression in terms of the legs of the game, I think the Titanfall community is very hopeful that this game is going to have a very long life ahead of it, and that's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
With that said, I think the safer bet in terms of the game that you'll be playing a year from now is definitely Battlefield 1. However, there could still be surprises. The differences there are, for Battlefield 1, you have to buy a season pass. That's $130 for the whole thing.
Yeah,
a ton.
Yeah.
For this is the tough part. I'm just going to chill for a second. Let's use our stealth.
There you go. A little cloaking.
Boom.
Wow. I do like the animations. If you notice when you slide, you come out of it with an uppercut.
Sure.
If you melee somebody, if you actually just jump up behind them, you give them a little haymaker there.
Sure.
And if you jump in the air in melee, you get a jump kick. So there's a different animation tied into each.
Real nice.
Yeah, and it looks and feels really good. That was one of those things we were talking about. What's changed? The melee in the first Titanfall was really odd. I don't know if you remember it, but it was one of those things where it didn't matter where and how far and close you were to somebody. It always felt like the jump kick or the melee had like two motions. It was like,
sure.
And you would always get in this position where you could be right next to somebody, and there's so many videos where they're next to somebody and they're like kicking them, but they're not hitting them. The impact zone was really low.
Definitely feels better, I think.
Yeah, so the fluidity of just sliding and hitting somebody or, like that, and doing an uppercut, this feels really good.
And then Titanfall has no season pass. All the DLC and maps are going to be free.
Oh, nice.
So that's
Very
something
good.
that is definitely worthy of. Can I hack this guy, or is that just
I don't know.
just create spot?
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, it's your own call. I think this is the riskier choice in terms of the game that will definitely have a community. If you look at Titanfall 1, it still has a community, but it's, it is completely dwarfed by the Battlefield 4 community at this point. So, but they're totally different experiences. Which one appeals to you? Which one are you more interested in? That's your call. Oh, this part is really cool and actually a little bit different than any other moment in the game. We kind of get this zombie robot horde straight out of Team Fortress 2, or like the Overwatch Halloween thing, where we have these kind of like
What is this guy doing?
These just kind of zombified robots that are crawling at our friends here, trying to. Yeah.
Yeah, those are. Yeah, this is a little different.
It's a pretty cool moment. And it's thought I guess there is actually a callback to it at some point. So here's the L-Star. This is a weapon that is just the absolute best in campaign and almost total trash in multiplayer. It's not total trash.
What's the, is it like a light machine gun or what?
It is. It is an LMG. It's an energy-based light machine gun that is almost kind of similar to the plasma rifle in Halo. If you'll notice,
it overheats.
Yeah, it overheats right here. I'm gonna have it overheat, and then I have to do this very lengthy kind of disassemble, reassemble, field strip scenario.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, I can just kind of do this, and then I'm locked out of it for a second, can't shoot. But it does a ton of damage, and it just melts things. It's single player that stands still.
So are most of the weapons that are available in multiplayer all available in single player and vice versa? Is there any specific weapons that are like custom to the mode? No?
No, in my experience, everything that I've used in single player, I believe, is available in multiplayer. In fact, I would even go as far to say that I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay.
There may be one or two weapons that you get. You do get a very like steroided version of the smart pistol in single player at one point.
Gotcha.
And it's just like cheating.
Yeah, Rex.
But hey, that's the smart pistol, right?
And it's campaign, you know?
Yeah.
Some exclusive moments that are in there.
For sure. So actually, the gun we were using on our Titan is surprisingly absent in multiplayer. That default assault rifle,
okay,
the burst core, that's not a core that is available in multiplayer that I saw.
Gotcha.
Alright, so this is a cool little. Oh boy, I messed up.
Uh-oh.
I think I was supposed to go a different way, probably. Oh, come on.
Run on those walls.
You can wall run, buddy. You can do it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, with DLC, that's always one of those things where, again, most of the people, some people commenting me from Destiny and Fireteam chat, I have a lot of Destiny hours under my belt. In that regard, there's very few games that have incorporated new weapons and different mechanics to the game like Destiny has. Do you think that will potentially be one of those things in the DLC, or do you think they'll introduce new weapons and change the gameplay and stuff like that, or do you think it'll mostly be like maps?
So I talked to the developers about the post-launch support, and they said, and I believe, you know what, it's on my phone, we can pull it up.
Off the record.
I have it all recorded, but as far as I remember, they said new maps, new modes, new weapons, new Titans.
Okay, interesting.
I believe. Don't quote me on the Titans part especially, but they definitely said weapons, I'm pretty sure. And obviously maps and modes, and that's all going to be free. And they were kind of talking about how, you know what, I just did a giant circle.
You did. I was going to say,
where am I going?
We were shooting robots crawling on the ground there. I just remember that being really frightening, and now we're here. And it's less frightening.
BT, where am I going, buddy? Anyway, so yeah, new weapons, definitely gonna be a thing. The thing that I would really love to see, though, is ranked competitive play.
Yes.
That's kind of the end game here, you know? We were talking about the first Titanfall missing some legs, so to speak. There's a Titan helmet up there. Pilot helmet.
Get it.
I wonder what I feel like the way to go about that is not there.
Well, if you have any other questions, make sure you tweet at us or let us know in the chat. That was a question from John Smith that we answered a little while ago. So thanks, John. I mean, for the most part, yeah, you kind of summed it up saying you think Battlefield will have maybe a bit longer longevity. Now, is it just because of the history of watching the Battlefield games over the years that you think that?
Yep, and Battlefield 1 has checks all the boxes in that respect, so.
Gotcha.
Here we go. This is where we want to be. If you're encountering enemies, you're going the right way.
Oh, look out. That's the slide shotgun. Oh, man.
Oh, the slide shotgun feels
nothing
good.
feels better. Oh, there it is. The side slide. Oh, a third slide. 3 slides. You're out. Boom. Oh, Duggan. Oh, my gosh. This is disgusting.
Shotgun is real dirty.
Yeah, it looks good.
But yeah, competitive play. So the longevity of Titanfall 1, you and I talked about, everybody's aware of the fact that the progression was a little bit short. It was multiplayer only. The story was kind of an afterthought. And what was there for $60 wasn't, you know, it was up to you, but was that worth your purchase at the start? Is that what is consistent with the $60 purchase nowadays? The thing I want to see from Titanfall 2 that will really give it legs, it has this network system, which is like guilds meets a subreddit. It's kind of the way the developers explained it to me. There's an IGN network, by the way. You can join it. Yep. We will be there. I will be playing. And that gives like happy hour bonuses for people who play during a certain time. So imagine if you were playing Destiny and like you got an extra like X currency or something, right, for playing during a certain time with your buddies. That's really cool. But what I want to see more is like, you know, let's get some clan matches, some competitive play. Let's get an Overwatch ranking system that unlocks exclusive aesthetic rewards. That's really what I would be looking for in terms of future content if it were up to me. But of course it's not.
Well, they did do that kind of stuff in Titanfall 1. It was implemented much later
in
the cycle of the game.
I was totally unaware of
where
that.
they had like a ranking kind of a setup, and so that's weird. That
I don't even need to kill this guy.
Yeah, and I was wondering why some of those choices are. It feels like initially they kind of almost established like, you know, a community, you know, a I wouldn't say a non-ranked environment, but just kind of like getting the hang of the game in a sense for like a couple months. But I think that's always the risk in doing that and implementing that stuff way later is the install base die down waiting for that that content, right? But
trying to get up here. I believe there's a helmet up there. Remember getting this during the playtest. Yeah, that's a really great point. And Overwatch is a game that didn't launch with ranked play at the start, though it was certainly on the agenda. Not the cleanest run, but I'll take it. And yeah, it's certainly died down in terms of its popularity, but you know, players jump back in there every single time there's an update. So got our helmet.
Ooh,
Boom!
helmet.
I missed it. What's in here? A door.
Right past it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump over and get it. And so you can see the helmets that are available on this particular level is 6. We're gonna talk with BT again. Say that again because I didn't hear it. Your guy, you know, BT, he's an interesting character for sure.
Yeah.
There are times where you really feel like he is sentient and he is, you know, like your brother in this combat.
Yeah.
And there's other times where he does his like goofy robot answers. Like,
I mean, there were a few parts that they even showed us in the demo later on in the game that I actually thought were really funny. Obviously, very buddy cop kind of.
Oh, it's super
vibe,
buddy cop.
But
yeah.
it's well done. I mean, I appreciate that kind of stuff.
He's a very likable robot.
Yeah.
He could have been a real pain in the butt, but he's always got a very can-do attitude, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. There was one moment in the trailer where you know you give him thumbs up and he's just kind of going like. And it's obviously the first time he's ever given a thumbs up or something. I was like, okay, there's some moments in here that are pretty endearing.
Long time no see, BT.
On the contrary, your helmet provided me with a live feed of your actions.
See, case in point.
Yeah, that's cool.
So here's a cool grenade that is actually like a throwing star, but it's thermite throwing star.
Yes, I saw some of the stuff in multiplayer last night.
It's go ahead and give it a toss. Oh, that's the wrong button. Haha!
R1. There we go.
Well, you can actually kind of aim it, this is actually something you can get in multiplayer. It's a perk that allows you to see path of your grenades.
I wasn't sure yet. Yeah, I really like that. It is one of those things where, again, it's implemented so well. They do these little things where you just kind of feel like it's cheating a little bit, but it's kind of nice because everybody kind of randomly sometimes throws a grenade, and then you just kind of hope for the best. So this is kind of cool where you get a chance to at least see roughly where it's going to drop.
Sniping on a controller has always been a tenuous endeavor for me.
Oh, so there is, and let's talk about this because for me that's always an issue as well too. This forever brings up the internal debate as you know, as a longtime Xbox player, where I played a lot of this stuff, like all the Call of Duties on Xbox and Xbox 360. I've recently moved over to PS4 to play Destiny, and I will be buying this and a bunch of other games on PS4. Being a fan of Xbox, though, over the years, I will say I'm not a super big fan of the Xbox One controller. I like the 360 controller, love, and then the Xbox Elite controller, really enjoy also. But the PlayStation 4 controller is actually not bad. PlayStation 2 and 3 controllers were really odd. The sticks were really close together. Like, your thumbs would almost literally hit playing PlayStation 3 controllers. Concave, you know, where it's,
the shotgun.
I mean,
Brutal.
you know how that works.
I do. Bam, bam.
So from that standpoint, for me, initially, a lot of it, besides the interface, was like the controller. That's a huge piece of the puzzle for people playing these games is what does the controller feel like? And at least now, within the context of the menu, there's a bunch of fine-tuning options for your controller. Everything from, you know, the velocity of the control sticks and how they move in the dead zone and the certain curvature of, like, if you're aiming in, there's a subtle adjustment. And slide nugget.
There's some new these are like little oh man, what are they called? Ticks.
Ticks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
remember when I got hit by one of them in multiplayer. I was kind of like inspecting. And I was like, well, what's this little guy? Ha! Boom. Yep. I was like, all right,
dead.
That's not good. Yeah, so from that standpoint, I do appreciate a lot of those fine details in the ability to use a controller how you feel it should play. And there's a lot of those, you know, everything from your sensitivity to your dead zone movement areas and stuff like that. It's really well done, and it takes a little while to actually figure out, like, you know, if we go into the options, if I end up playing sometime maybe later on, I like a setting called Fine Tune, and for me, that's the one that I can play really good on, and it makes a huge difference. There's a like a range shooting scenario at the very beginning, right?
Yep.
Look at the tutorial. When I set it for fine-tuned in that setting, no problem. If I set it for anything else, as I zoom in, I'm literally like dragging the controller around, and it feels like I'm not aiming. So
I don't have any of these problems.
yeah, spend some time though. It takes a little while, you know.
You want to tell the people why I have none of these problems?
Why do you have none of these problems?
Because I'm playing this game on PC.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
So do you like playing it better with mouse and keyboard? Like,
absolutely.
Really?
Every shooter, man. Every shooter is like.
I mean, Doug and I thought we were friends.
It's a well-known fact that you can, regardless, there's a lot of very skilled console players out there who are very good at the games they play, but if you get them in the same room, I mean, auto-aim off, I'm assuming, with PC players, it's going to be a slaughter. That's not even subjective. You know, there's the ray of hope, and I don't know how much this is supported or if this is kind of a dirty word in the console gaming community, but there's a mouse and keyboard for the Xbox One and PS4, which has me very excited because my goodness, if those skills translate over and it's not like a really bad input delay scenario, that can be really fun. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I was playing through all of this. It feels great on the controller. I was a huge Halo 2 guy way back in the day.
Yeah.
So I still have a remnant of my former self here. But as soon as I jumped into the multiplayer on mouse and keyboard, I felt immediately at home. It felt great. with the sliding and the crouching and the everything.
Mike, I appreciate that. The guy lost all credibility when he said DS4, I'm assuming PS4, was better than the Xbox One controller. I will say that.
Did you say DS4?
Yeah, it's typo. It's okay, Mike. Yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, the PS4. But I will say though that overall, I mean,
this is bad news.
The Elite controller destroyed the original Xbox One controllers. You know what? Even the Xbox One S release is a bit of a difference. Like, you feel like they made the controllers a little bit better. Like, day one launch Xbox One controllers did not feel that great. It just kind of felt a little bit flimsy. I mean,
so here's a scenario in the single player that I want to point out as being not one of the better moments in my opinion. Like, I guess the idea here is you're going to be jumping around these walls, but there's not a lot of walls to jump off of. I guess I could go to the side, but I'm presented with this overwhelming odds, and then BT eventually steps in. But you saw how many people I had to just kill there. There's no real graceful way of doing it. Like, you can slide all you want, but there's so many people that it just throws at you that you kind of end up doing that classic Call of Duty thing of like, oh my god, I'm hurt, I'm going to go behind cover and just wait here for a second. Okay, here, I'm back. And that doesn't feel nearly as fleshed out as some of the platforming and some of the other moments in the game.
Yeah.
Pilot, that was a difficult battle. You handled yourself well.
Thanks, BT, buddy.
For the record.
You're my best robo friend.
So it's really odd. I will say that there's a lot more sort of pilot gameplay than I expected.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, because I think the mechanics and the movement of, you know, the game are very focused on that. But
there's 1 or 2 levels where you're in the Titan, the entire level.
okay.
But yeah, the standout, and if you had told me this before I played it, I'd be like, you're lying. But the standout moments in the campaign are on foot.
Yeah.
They introduced these mechanics that change the way that you play the game, that you were just, which we may get to, I don't know, we're looking on time, we're approaching the second level. I think we may do it. We may get to the first, we'll certainly get to one of the more interesting platforming moments in the game. And it's just not something that I really expected. We're coming up on our first boss here.
Nice.
Let's see how quickly we can destroy him. This is Kane.
You were not invited to Kane's
They say he has mechanics. I have yet to see them because I just let him up. He is playing in a Scorch Titan, so it has this flame wave thing.
So maybe let him live for a little bit. You know,
I don't know.
you want to melt him?
I kind of want to demonstrate how quickly you can. I don't have a core up.
Okay.
So we'll say, and his second Titan does come in here. So you can get these going on there. And basically, I have this rocket barrage, which is going to shoot a bunch of rockets. The way this 40mm cannon I have, you just light him up, and then he's got the flame shield up, but it's not enough. And I got my salvo core online, so we're going to do it. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, well, here's some mechanics. So we got like kind of a line telegraph coming down there. There are batteries that can be picked up.
But you pretty much do not want to get out of your Titan, probably. Ever.
Oh, no. I mean, maybe you could. I don't know.
Can you pick up the batteries in the Titan?
Yes.
I thought that you could only get them on foot.
That's only in multiplayer.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. There's a bit of a difference. You're still wrecking.
Yeah, still wrecking. He's doing a good job of staying alive as far as bosses go. And when I fought this first boss, I was very hopeful of the rest would be very mechanically rich in the way this guy kind of is. But that's just not the case. He's actually one of the bosses who ends up staying alive. I guess the longest, for maybe because you're new to the game and this is the first boss you fight. But
so hard mode for first-person shooter experienced players. It's probably a good idea.
Yes, definitely. I was playing this for capture purposes, and right now I'm playing on normal for stream purposes of not dying on the stream as much as possible. If you're going to play this at home for your own enjoyment, I thoroughly recommend it. So do the developers playing on hard. I believe there's a mode beyond that. I'm not really sure what that entails.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was called again, but yeah.
I think it's Master Mode.
Yes, that's right.
So this is regular that we're playing right now. But see you later, Kane. GG, bro. GG.
If you have any other questions, let us know. There's a few people just talking about, yes, the Xbox One Elite controller is one of the best controllers. I would agree with that.
It's good to hear. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Do you have one personally?
I've used them. I want to get one. I mean, for the last few times where I played games like Halo, the weight of the analog sticks is different. There's a certain amount. I mean, even the trigger buttons at the back, there's a bunch of things that make it a really good controller. You can tell it was designed for...
So would you do a lump sum, or would you do a payment plan? How would you go about it?
Exactly, I know, and that's the issue. It's like, hey, guess what? This is half the price of a console.
Whatever,
but,
man. I've spent easily that much on a mouse.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it, though. It is one of those things. It's ironically, twice I've tried to go and buy one when they've been on sale. I've seen them as low as about $110, and every time I do it, I try to add it to the cart, and they're like sold out. And I'm
Black
like,
Friday.
I know. That's one of the things on my list. But yeah, this looks good. I will say the art design, just everything about the game so far does look really good. And it runs at a nice locked 60 and nice and crisp and smooth. Even the original Titanfall, there was some, tearing issues and stuff like that in multiplayer. It was 60, but not a locked 60, so it was a little bit weird to watch sometimes. I don't know if you remember that or had those experiences. You played the original Titanfall mostly only on PC.
Yeah.
So the console version, at least on Xbox One, it was this weird kind of pseudo, resolution, upscaled, standard lip service. And oh, there you go. And it just, yeah, it was good, but it felt a little jarring because of the frame rate dips. This looks amazing. Like this looks really good.
Yeah.
So even in all the intense, battles you've had with all the kind of rockets and all that stuff that's happening, I haven't really noticed any kind of frame dips or.
So here's the loadout that guy we thought just had. Now, I question why they didn't just drop his loadout and let me pick it up. That would have given me a cool sense of progression. Instead, it's like laying on the ground after the fight.
Okay, yeah.
After the next level, and kind of like I haven't fought any enemies, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a weird little thing. This is a really cool, potentially one of my favorite design-wise Titan cores, and this is Scorch, right. So he gets this shield, which is very similar to the shield that you put up to stop projectiles. And it does stop them, it doesn't reflect them, but what it does do, and we'll see this action coming up here. Oh, this is a great level, by the way. The start of it's pretty normal, but we can see we're like, what is it? Oh no! You saw it here first. PS4 crash.
Yeah, I gave it too much praise too quickly. I was talking about how smooth it was, how buttery, how good quality, and
that buttery silk, but now
exactly.
it's so in my playthrough of the full campaign, I had 2 crashes.
Okay.
And we're kind of on point to have a similar amount here.
No good. I mean,
but
I mean, and again, it's not like, I mean, is there like a patch, like post-launch?
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
I mean, so those kind of things happen, especially when you're getting early access and stuff like that.
Yes, it's no longer a scenario where they have to send you a patch CD disc.
Yes.
In the mail, and you have to boot up your floppy drive.
That's good.
Instead, you can just probably auto-download it. Hey, by the way, if you are considering purchasing this or have already purchased, now is the time to preload it so you can play right at 9 p.m. Pacific time or midnight Eastern. I did that. I got all my drivers set up, my NVIDIA, my GeForce. It's all good to go. And I am ready to rock with that as well as Battlefield 1. By the way, if you play Battlefield 1, there's a really cool exclusive Red Baron skin for your Titan. That looks awesome.
Nice.
And you can jump right into that, as well as there's some promotional deals with various vendors around there, which I thought was very funny, actually. Having a Buffalo Wild Wings insignia on your Titan is quite comical.
It's, yeah.
All right, and we're back.
All right, well, that's nice. I mean, at least from that standpoint, did you have a checkpoint there, or no?
They may have gotten really lucky with it. Whoa, get out of here. I don't want to be on this. It's pushing me with trees. That's not what I want. Ah, stop it! Oh no, I'm gonna die. No, I'm not. I gotta get out of the way. These trees, these evergreens. So where are these going? That's the question.
Yeah,
right?
At least you actually were able to, crash in a checkpoint, and we're right back into it.
So as Max says in Battlefield 1, smell my farts.
Oh, perfect.
So that's gas, and then I light it up, and the whole thing blows up. This is the Scorch core, and this is probably, I don't know about effectiveness, but certainly one of my favorite cores in terms of gameplay it confers. Those guys are just running into the thermite. So check this out. I can bring this up and I can just incinerate people.
Oh, nice.
This wall of flame.
That's cool.
So these cars here, we're like, what kind of factory is this? This is the level that will end up being the most interesting in this particular stream for sure.
Is this Hammond Robotics or no? Are we at the robotics factory?
Questions, valid questions that I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
But. And I think at this point I disengage.
Whoa, that looks crazy.
Yeah,
the scope of that.
There's going to be a lot more of that to come.
All right.
And so you're wondering what's being built at this factory. The answer will be revealed in the moments to come.
Momentarily. Yeah, this is
these people alive.
This is really cool, the Scorch gameplay. And that's neat. I like how BT has that ability. So you can basically, without penalty, switch back and forth between any game mechanic
even in multiplayer. Not while the Titan is dropped, but you could be like, you know what, I don't want this gun, I want this gun, and it'll switch it out right there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Which is a pretty cool thing in my opinion.
So you don't need to wait for like a new Titan to drop, or?
Well, you do need to wait for a new Titan to drop. You can't get in a Scorch and be like, you know what, I want a Ronin.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, I think I was supposed to get something there. Whoopsies. Sorry, BT bud. Or not, maybe. I don't know. All right, well, see you.
Yeah, just to confirm, this game, at least on the console side, is locked at 60 frames, it seems. I don't know if I would go on record to say that, but everything that we're seeing right here looks like a solid 60 frames.
I'm trying to remember if I had frame dips, and I'm coming up short. I didn't play multiplayer on the console. I played it on PC, but I did play the campaign.
Gotcha.
And I don't remember any frame dips.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a noticeable issue in Titanfall on Xbox
So
One.
we have to be very careful here because there are these walls that come flying through there. Go ahead and dash. And of course, being in the Titan, we can just do this.
Crush.
See ya. Do a little smell my fart action. Come back. Maybe burn some people with this wall of fire. Man, what a terrible time to be a foot soldier, yeah?
Yeah, those Spectres.
So again, this is the start of the mechanic heavy part of the game. This is where the game, in my opinion, starts getting really interesting in terms of the single player.
Nice.
We have these walls, which I don't know that it's not happening. Maybe it's on a pretty long timer. Stop it. They kind of swoop down. Maybe we'll just get hit by one. I don't know. And you kind of have to dodge these walls that are coming at you. It's almost, I don't know if you remember, oh, there's a hostile Titan. If you remember in episode 2 of Star Wars, not Empire Strikes Back, the best movie ever made, instead, Attack of the Clones, the worst movie ever made. There's a scene where Anakin is on like this,
like a conveyor belt thing, yeah.
And this level is a lot like that.
Right, okay.
Get in here and use a little melee. See if we can get a cool Titan execution. No dice.
So I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. I'm not sure. It might have been Sean. We were talking about all the different sort of games that this is kind of not emulating, but taking inspiration from. Yeah,
I mean, emulating's a fair word.
What would you say is been what would you say is the most similar it is to a campaign within the context of shooting? Because again,
a campaign.
Well, yeah, because thinking of like Portal 2, where Portal 2 had a bunch of various platforming-esque puzzles in first-person mode. I'm trying to think of another game that really kind of did that as well.
I don't think Portal's an unfair comparison. Now, if you're coming into this game expecting Portal, don't.
Yeah,
however,
very different.
Like, there are elements that are as good as some of the best moments in Portal in terms of the puzzle platforming. The puzzle elements in this game are laughably easy. Like, it's like, oh, I have to flip a switch. It's but the puzzle platforming, the reactionary on the go, oh, I better jump on this platform, no wait, that was a really bad idea. That stuff is definitely there in a cool amount. I'm gonna get up and use, flame core. Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. Haha! Boom. That's a great, that core is very good. It just shoots this huge wall of fire.
That's cool. So you can switch mid, like if you implement one, like it doesn't disappear then when you change off to the new Titan, right? Okay.
Yeah, but that's only in single player. Switching your Titan is something you can do in between Titans in multiplayer, but not like mid-Titan.
Yeah, not like this. Okay. Oh, so those are cores that are charging your shield.
So those are batteries, and what those do is give me health as well as shield.
Gotcha.
In multiplayer, it's the same. There's no way to get shield other than getting a battery.
Right.
And shields are significant. And
because I don't remember seeing from the brief moment I spent in multiplayer, is there a shield bar in multiplayer as well as a... Okay.
Yeah, but you need a battery to get it. You don't just
Gotcha, it just doesn't spawn with it. Okay, so if you have a teammate who delivers a battery to you, or you have a battery.
Yeah,
okay.
You could get one from your pilot boost, or you could get one from rodeoing another Titan. Or
Gotcha.
In Last Titan Standing, they're just kind of statically spawning around the map.
So you don't start with it. That's the reason why I don't remember seeing it, because I don't know if I've had somebody deliver me a battery when I'm low on health. But then,
so here's another core that is not available in multiplayer, and this is the brute core that shoots rockets. I mean, so a lot of like the cores are. However, the weapon, this weapon is not. Oh, right. Okay, so I remember this part. So I'm gonna jump out. But that missile weapon doesn't make an appearance in multiplayer in its current state, which is totally fine. Like, I think the 6 Titans that they have in the game right now are a super solid start. I don't think they need to necessarily add any to make some kind of gameplay improvements. I think it's a really good core. I think they could add some more for the sake of having more variety.
Right.
That'd be cool. Just gonna punch him.
Yeah.
That works.
Anti-Titan weapon.
So I'm gonna ditch that anti-Titan weapon for this cool shotgun right here. This is a pistol shotgun that in multiplayer you can have as a secondary weapon.
That's cool. Fire that thing for a second.
Bam.
Ooh, nice.
It's got 4 shots. You reload it like this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this, and if we watch BT, I wonder if it happens here, or if it happens later. But that crane ends up picking him up, and then he's like a scared puppy. All this, he's like, "Pilot, help me! I cannot free myself." Yeah, there it is. Poor BT. And now begins what I think is the best platforming, well, no, second best platforming level in the entire game. And that's Ash, and that is a very interesting character that we'll learn more about.
Roger. Kappa 3 en route. Out.
So here we go.
I cannot free myself.
So I beat the campaign relatively quickly, and then for the rest of my playtest for the single-player day, I did this level over and over and over and over again. So I know all the nooks and crannies.
All right.
And basically, we're going to be seeing these platforms that are being built, and more stuff is going to be added to these platforms. And you're like, what in the heck are they building? And then you find out, and it's a little bit terrifying. There's a little bit of an oh crap existential crisis moment that happens towards the end of this. So you can look forward to that. If you have any questions, tweet at IGN with the hashtag IGNPlaysLive. I'm going to take a drink of water, and then we'll get into it.
Do that. Yeah, there's a lot of chat between Battlefield 1 and Titanfall. Just wondering, which one you think will have a better campaign.
Oh, far and away Titanfall 2. This is, again, subjective. However, I think the things... and I'm not the only presser who has said this. Check this out. Jump off this. I'm actually gonna answer that in a minute because I'm just gonna go into kicking butt mode here.
Rock.
Get a cool slide shotgun going on. Oh, I'm kind of getting my butt kicked as opposed to doing the opposite. When in doubt, just go to automatic weapons. It's all good. Let's see if we can kick this guy off the edge. Probably not. So Titanfall, when I played Battlefield 1's campaign, I didn't really know how to feel about it. I thought there were moments that were totally ham-fisted and cheesy, and there were I thought there were moments that were a little bit emotional and interesting, and it does a really good job of the atmosphere. However, I then played Titanfall 2's campaign, and the amount of innovation, albeit they're both very brief campaigns, the amount of innovation in this campaign, I was like, oh, right, this is what a fun campaign is like in a first-person shooter.
Right.
And it's been a long time since I've kind of felt that feeling. So I could talk to BT there. I decided not to. Oh,
double
I'm
jump. Oh.
No, I already used it. Sometimes there will be this weird thing where you're like wall running and you'll double jump
off
on the wall instead
I've
of
had that.
after it, and then you're like, well, that sucks.
That was not intentional.
All right, we're gonna pick up this cool LMG and we're gonna jump into the meat grinder. Here we go. So I come down this little garbage chute. These guys are complaining about how they're underpaid. typical job fare.
Which is pretty cool. I do like the fact that the story kind of lets you know that the IMC are not sometimes sure what's happening, like the top down. You can tell that they're low on the totem pole.
So here are these platforms. This huge, look at this giant thing.
Cool.
And I'm on this platform. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of it. And then that's going to move on. And basically, I'm going to stay with that platform the whole time. Swap this out for a cool, better shotgun here. And as I progress through the level, the platform will be built. And it's almost like going through a car factory. So we can see here on the right, once I kill these dudes, get out of here, it goes up. If I were to stand on it right now, that'd be really bad because it gets stamped up there, and I would be crushed. And now it's got dirt on it. You're like, what the heck is going on? Now it's one of those classic, like, oh, I'm in the machine, oh no, what am I ever going to do? Oh, wait, I'll just run over here. Same thing here. I have to jump off of it for a brief moment, kind of engage some combat. Now, Titanfall 2 is not a game that forces you to have combat encounters. I'm going to skip a lot of this, and I'm just going to use the cloak here. Ooh, I didn't time that properly. That's another thing that I don't want to be on. I'm going to wait for the next one to go.
Oh,
jerk.
Respawn. I see what they did there. That's really cool. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Right, so we're right back here.
So as far as the starting back after you die, it looks like it's pretty quick as far as load times, and it doesn't take you far back.
Like the only time I have a real problem with that is it'll do it in the middle of the boss fight, and then you're like, no, I want to beat the entire boss, thanks. I don't want half the fight.
Oh, interesting. So it doesn't. So if you die in the middle of a boss fight, it will put you back.
So let's try not to get crushed.
Okay.
Let's see if I can slide off of it. Yes, I can. Cool. Now it goes up. Now I'm gonna jump over here, get on this thing, and then we can kind of see that there's just this whole thing happening with these things.
What are they building?
Over here. You're gonna find out, dude. Don't worry.
Okay.
And I'm gonna jump off this one, and then I have a limited time to be on this one before this one disappears. I'm actually gonna stand on it for just the sake of showing you, and then we'll jump up here. And now here's another area that I can just pretty much skip with clever use of the cloak. There's a dude who comes around here that I'm going to pop, 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 pop.
Boom.
And then I'm just going to stand right in the middle of this, waiting for this platform to be built underneath, maybe pull this out and get some kills this way. This is an exponentially increasing rate of fire on this gun, which is kind of cool. It's almost like a minigun.
Yeah.
Just going to jump, get on this guy, and now we can kind of relax as this thing takes us away from this hostile combat area, and we're going to get a couch installed. We're going to get a nice IKEA cabinet installed, and these are going to come down. This is how houses are built in the future.
This does feel very Portal.
So yeah, so this comes down, and like if you were standing under that, you would be crushed. But now I have a cool couch that I could sit on if I wanted to.
Yeah. Press square to sit. No option.
Press square to pay respects.
Shoot it. There we go.
And then we get a little. So you're like, what is going on?
This does look like some kind of like portable housing.
Yeah, yeah. You're not really sure exactly what is happening. Whoa.
Yeah. This is where all the IMC grunts like do like training missions and stuff like that.
That's a fair assessment of the situation.
That's my guess. All right, that's my guess.
So you can ride this thing the whole time. I'm gonna hop off to get a little combat, mix it up.
Oh, ticks.
We're good.
Oh.
So the best way to deal with ticks is actually to just let them explode and walk away.
Gotcha.
Oh no! I forgot that there was a laser thing there. It was awful.
Mistakes were made.
I don't know how many times I ran through this to get the playthrough that I did, but you should check it out. It's on YouTube. It is flawless.
So you've done it, like
Yes,
all the
yes,
way through. No deaths.
No deaths. No moments of boredom. It's just all.
At least you're not starting too far back. I mean, that is
Yeah.
nice. Recover! Oh.
Got egg on my face now.
Oh.
Tweet all your bad gameplay to @CJ Gibson.
Yeah, that's right. This is James Duggan behind the
This
controller.
Is at CJ Gibson.
James
Make sure you
Duggan.
tweet him and tell him how bad he is.
There's
Watch, I'm gonna land it.
What's up to everybody in the chat?
You can go ahead and check out my Battlefield 1 sniper gameplay on YouTube if you think I'm bad at video games.
To give him some confidence.
Yeah, that was. I had some dirty moments in my Battlefield 1 coverage that I felt very good about. Okay, so now we're moving on. More stuff is being added, and you can kind of look ahead and see what the platform is going to evolve into.
There's
Can I get a shout out? Oh, hey, it's Chastity. What's up?
You can get a shout out. You can get a shout out.
I can't shout you out. You work at GameSpot. This whole house is being built. That's Chastity Vicencio. She's a producer over at our friends over there at GameSpot.
Cool dude. First time watching the IGN stream. Welcome, cool dude.
I always like it when cool dudes and dudettes check out our stuff. So I'm going to stay on this, and there's a really nice payoff, I will say that about this level, when you realize what is being built and how it kind of unfolds. CJ, you're in for quite the surprise here.
I think it's going to be basically, yeah, like their warfare simulation training levels.
Wow.
That's my guess.
What if I told you you're totally right?
Oh, there you go. Not too bad.
Let's
You know,
jump
and I
off.
have not played this yet.
Let's jump off and get a little combat action going. I'm going to see if I can do an assassination here, which is a thing you can do.
Boom. Oh.
I thought he punched his head.
Yeah, I know.
clean off. I was
The
like,
helmet
what is
coming
going
off
on?
is that's a nice touch.
Oh, here's one of my favorite guns. I believe this is the G4. Not to be confused with G4 TV.
I like the
Rip in peace.
the hollow scopes, and I do appreciate the fact that the amount of ammunition is on the scope as you're zooming in. There's a couple times, especially at the very beginning of the campaign, where you're playing without any HUD indication and anything else like that, with how many rounds you have in a clip, and it's kind of nice. It's a neat touch.
It is. It's really nice.
Can you remove the HUD completely if you wanted to, or no? Is there an
I have
option?
not seen an element way to do that, but maybe there is.
I'm not sure if there was an option.
I'll go ahead and use my nifty cloak to kind of sneak past a couple of these dudes. Not all of them, though. They will wise up and turn around, but I mean, they can't see you when that, even if you're right in their face. Oh, the shotguns, dude, they're brutal. I'm gonna get some cover on this thing.
Oh, the roof's on now. There we go.
Yeah, it's got some more elements since we last saw it.
Double decker.
And from this point out, it's pretty chill until we get to the grand reveal. Taking me up, and now I can kind of have this scenic view.
I'm just waiting for it to be like the house from Nuketown.
Dude, you're hitting the
in
nail.
Black Ops.
You're hitting the nail on the head right now. It is. Yeah, it is.
Looks pretty close.
I think it definitely takes some inspiration from that. But it's very sinister. Like I wasn't sure what was being built this whole time.
That was a
Really?
meat grinder.
That was
You
a meat
okay?
grinder.
See what he says.
You okay?
I'm undamaged. However, I do not believe this is a food processing plant.
Robots.
Funny.
This is gonna turn itself
BT.
inside out.
Big sense of humor. Oh.
Upside down.
Okay, so here we get our first glimpse at the wall. Jon Snow is up there. So we kind of get pasted onto this wall, and my orientation is about to be all kinds of messed up, which is a very, this is one of the two standout kind of action blocks, so to speak,
They say.
of the game for me. And we can have a little preview of what's about to happen to me right there.
The scope of the levels do feel massive.
They
and
do,
It's crazy
yeah.
that you actually feel like you can go anywhere in a first-person like mode.
So now I'm gonna get turned upside down.
There is only one way out, pilot.
Oh, that's cool.
Man, you shut up, GLaDOS. I don't need any crap
Yeah.
from you.
Oh, that's like even just watching you play.
Pilot, scans indicate that
There was a part in Uncharted 2, spoilers if you haven't beat that yet, where the ship is capsized and it's going
Yeah,
down
yeah.
And it's sideways, and it looks like even just to watch you play, where I know things are in reverse, or that's cool.
So I have to come over here, do a nice little double jump over there, come up on here, and then
Have a quick peek around. I just want to see
Oh,
the,
sure,
the
sure.
scope of the. Oh, that's neat.
and
That's
then
very cool.
actually a little bit of foreshadowing. This ceiling is more than it seems.
Okay,
We'll figure out.
alright.
We'll figure out in a minute exactly what's happening there. We get a very simple wall jump here. And then this part I think is just really cool, where you jump on the side of this car and you're like, oh my god, what am I going to
Yeah,
do?
it's a
And then you have to
truck.
wall run on the ground and jump off. And then you start seeing what's,
zone scenario activated. Resetting terrain.
there's one of those little blocks.
That's cool.
And so you're like, what is going on up there? It kind of looks like the sky, but it also kind of doesn't.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of holographic kind of world
Yep, and
that's happening up there.
CJ was very
Oh,
sure.
There we go.
We're going to jump on. And one of my favorite parts about this is it doesn't, like, if you try and jump back off of this onto another one, it doesn't penalize you for that. It's not like some, okay, now there's a place where I can no longer, there's no, like, artificial falling, basically, and, you're kind of like, oh my god, this is getting built, and oh.
That's very cool. So are there any pieces and elements to single player? Halo Reach, a couple of the games actually implemented some of their multiplayer levels in the game within the campaign. Is that happening
There
here?
is a multiplayer level that is similar to this, but nowhere near is
Okay.
it's just a setting. It's a
Yeah.
setting for the
But it's not like identical, and they've incorporated it into the actual campaign.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, and you'll actually see what's really cool about this whole like environment. It's very, I don't know if you've seen the movie Cube, but it's a little bit similar to that, or almost like an episode of Black Mirror where they have built this fake, like you said, this fake town
Yeah.
that they can just
Loading
modularly.
scenario
You'll,
127 in
Play
now
dynamic
we're like,
simulation
what the
room
heck is this?
314.
And then they turn the lights out.
Whoa.
Now, we shall see how impressive you truly are.
I have no ammo. That's bad.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Like, what in the heck? And now you can see the ground is kind of modularly changing.
Moving and shifting. Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna check these houses for ammo. So I'm running real low. Though I do want to get one little bit here at the very. Oh, there's one.
This looks similar to actually to a multiplayer map in the very first Titanfall, actually.
Delivering militia test subjects.
A little smaller, but
Flatline, cool. And here's a breach in the wall. And so these are some friendly guys who are saying that they barely survived the last test. And yeah, this now we have what, in my opinion, is a very good single-player combat experience, where we have a level that's made for it. It doesn't throw too many enemies at you to the point where you just feel like you have to cheese the fight.
Right.
You can kind of use your mobility. This was obviously built with the pilot mobility in mind, and I like that a lot. We get these kind of drop things from the sky that come in.
So this is like a bit of a horde mode firefight moment where now
Yeah.
you need to kill enemies.
Yes.
As they
Yeah, this is forcing you into combat, which is cool. Like, when it does do it, it does it in such a way that, I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes it doesn't feel nearly as well thought out as this, but this is definitely a standout combat moment, in my opinion, of the game. And we'll be presented with some much more difficult enemies here in a minute. we're really going to need to utilize our mobility for. Coming up from the center platform, we can kind of see in this tank. Say hello to the Reaper.
Oh, there we go. If you guys have any other questions about Titanfall, make sure to hit us up on Twitch, YouTube, or hashtag IGN.
He just totally
Wow.
annihilates my team.
Yeah,
I'm going to get over there and do what I can, but...
When he's posing too, he's like...
Another cool little element of detail is you can see I can like shoot the wall and it'll kind of glitch out.
Oh, it reflects, yeah, kind of like
I'm gonna...
You got an anti-Titan weapon?
No, I'm looking actually for a L-Star. I forget if there's one around here.
Does that guy chase you?
Yeah. Yeah, he does not like me. But we actually had a second one coming in. The situation looks pretty grim. He launches these like... I don't know if those are ticks or mines, but in any scenario, it's not really great.
It's very cool.
Of course, you can hit the ticks when they're next to their allies to have them explode for maximum damage.
This is cool.
You try and use my... Oh, he gave up the other way! Crafty! Clever girl.
Got you. Got you.
Let's find some better weapons, shall we? BT gives you some hints throughout this level saying, hey, there's weapon caches in the houses.
Are there collectibles per se in the game?
Yeah.
Somebody's wondering.
Yeah,
John?
there is those pilot helmets.
Gotcha. Is that the only thing? There's
That's the extent of it.
Now, do they actually impact the game whatsoever, or give you anything, as a reward, or it's just a collectible?
Just a collect.
Okay. Achievements attached to that?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure if there are. I assume there would be achievements. I don't know if I got trophies. I mean, I imagine there would probably have to be. But
Yeah, for collecting them all, but...
if you can see how like much this flatline jumps around, this is kind of indicative of what it's like in multiplayer, which is it can be rough, honestly.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the pilot helmets for sure, but within the context of actually, just collecting them all, there's no way to view them or anything either. I don't think after you collect them.
You can in the menu. You can see
just not progression.
Yeah, you can see how many you've collected from various levels. Also, there is a level select screen. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, yeah, and it says like 1 of 5 or 2 of 5 to tell you.
Oh, there's the L-Star. Okay, this is a great weapon to deal with these Reapers. Do a little sweet wall running here. Push me now. You can also.
I was gonna say, can you jump off the main wall? Nice.
Oh, there's another scenario where my
double jump didn't happen.
Double jump like triggered a little too soon.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. You can see it actually.
This thing is incredibly powerful against these larger targets. I wonder how awesome. Oh, what do you get at? No, I don't want it. He wouldn't let me move. He
Duggan, you can't enter that Titan. You cannot embark the Titan.
He's gonna be. He's like beating me up like an older brother. I wonder how much a horde mode would serve the game. I don't actually think it'd be that great of an inclusion since you have stuff like Bounty Hunt, which I think is great. Okay, so here's the part where some enemies are coming in. I'm going to pull a fast one and actually use the door that they came in to escape. In the words of Voyboy, see you nerds.
Somebody, speaking on the horde mode there was something like that they implemented in Titanfall 1, again, way later into the DLC, where they had, basically it was almost like survival stages and stuff like that, where you got turrets and all that kind of stuff, so maybe, you never know.
Maybe. Ooh, look, I've got
possibility,
weird
future.
And here's the end of this level. Just gotta go down these pipes, and then we're reunited with our dog, Titan. BT. And the time is 2:30. Sweet. We have a whole nother half hour.
Not too bad.
I don't remember if I think the really, really awesome level is
still ahead.
It's another level away. All right, so we're not going to get to it. But that was a look at one of the most interesting platforming moments in the game. There are others for sure. And there's a lot of really big set piece moments. I'm going to now pass the controls over to you, and I'm going to go ahead and take that laptop.
Oh, all right. You want me to slide it over there? I mean, dimming the controls. All right.
We are going to take some questions here from Twitter. Remember,
judgment's coming. Uh-oh.
If you have questions, tweet at IGN with the hashtag IGNPlaysLive.
Press X. So I'm going to show people real quick the control settings as I need them to play. Response curve for me needs to be on fine aim. And my dead zone needs to be large. and then it feels okay on the PS4 controller. There we go. All right, so I have not played much of campaign, just a few moments. So hopefully, hopefully the comments are super nice and positive and sweet, like they always are.
Elias says they ignore us. Not anymore. CJ may have ignored you and neglected you, but not me.
Elias, I
will read all of your
apologize.
stuff.
I apologize.
Do they have RPGs in this game? They have a rocket launcher that's lock-on, so in a sense, kind of. An arc RPG. Yeah, they have like these projectile energy heavy ordnance. Oh, this is a cool part.
Rotate to...
This has some like kind of like Matrixy vibes to it.
It does, yeah. Looking at all the...
I'd be interested to see what's in these.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Soylent Green is made of people. No, they're actually just animals.
What?
There's some
Oh yeah, those freaky creatures from the first.
from James Cameron's Avatar.
So I was just gonna say this. The whole theme is a very similar, like, you know, hey, let's get in a giant robot mech suit and take over the planet. All right, so this is my first time doing any kind of puzzling jumping mechanics in the game.
Hans the Cool says, "What's your favorite weapon in the game?"
Ooh.
Man, it has to be the default SMG in multiplayer. It's just good. It's just like one of those ones where you use it and you're like, wow, this fires. This is like a laser pointer at a distance and has no recoil. I'm definitely just gonna use this. I wouldn't surprised if it got nerfed. Would be surprised actually.
I will say that the weapon variation in this seems like a step in the right direction. The original Titanfall, pretty much doing multiplayer, was like the carbine.
Yeah.
That was the main weapon that everybody seemed to like using. You know, there's a couple other weapons, but they didn't seem as impactful overall as the carbine.
Marking your HUD.
Ticks, oh gosh. Okay, so they do have like a little...
They have a very lenient timer.
Very lenient
Actually,
timer.
a lot of the times I'm my own worst enemy with the ticks because I'll shoot them because I'm freaking out and then blow up.
Right, yeah. All right, it's my mission to do a slide uppercut. That's what I will... Oh, geez.
Do it on that thing.
Yeah, I think I'll let that guy blow. Oh, jeez. Okay, maybe no sliding uppercut just yet. Let's avoid the ticks.
So again, tweet at IGN. The hashtag IGN Plays Live. Ask us about the campaign. Ask us about the multiplayer. Ask us about the progression system. Ask us about what we had for lunch today. We'll answer it.
I had a sandwich.
I did too.
Chicken teriyaki. It was very good.
I did.
Brandon's Cafe.
I did be pulse up.
Oh no, I think I did the double jump. Yep. Oh,
You're good.
recovery,
You're good.
recovery.
Don't freak out. That's the key.
Okay.
Now you're.
Oh,
boy.
yeah, exactly. Now freak out.
This is like being in the car when your teenage child is driving
like,
for the first time. You're like,
oh, I see a little
Good
spot
name it.
here. I see a spot.
So there's a little cool puzzle platforming moment that's like that reactionary kind of thing.
Yeah.
BT is freaking out, fighting
BT,
everybody
what's
up.
up?
BT was in his own testing environment, surviving.
Let's go, BT. Let's do it. Do you pretty much normally get into BT 9 times out of 10 if he's around, or I mean,
I'm never out of like. There's no reason to not be in BT when they if they present you with the option of piloting him. There's no reason to not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though I suppose it's possible. You can hold R1 and that's going to paint people with a bunch of like missile stuff. You actually just hold it and swing around. There you go. You get a bunch of locks and you release
Nice.
it. Ba-boom.
I want to punch this guy. Oh, that was one of the things I really liked about the original Titanfall is when you punch the robots, like that animation where... Oh, yeah, these guys are like mincemeat out of these guys. Oh. See ya. Jump, BT. Why can't you jump?
Let us see what YouTube is saying. Randall Fan Guy says, Felicity, I love you. That's very nice.
Aww.
Or creepy, depending upon your relationship. Felicity says, is there a shotgun in the game? Yes. There are 2 shotguns. There's a kind of a traditional pump-action shotgun that packs quite a punch, and then there is a magazine-fed semi-automatic shotgun in addition to a small shotgun that we previewed a little bit earlier that you can use in your secondary slot in multiplayer. Is there different classes? Shepherd Fate says, if you're talking about multiplayer, yes. There are different, you have custom loadouts kind of akin to a, you're blowing up BT. You're not supposed to do that, actually. You're supposed to, BT's actually supposed to live and not die. It's kind of the goal of the game.
I want to just...
cool
I'm roading. There we go.
Give it to BT. No!
Oh, BT was destroyed.
That's so sad.
Sorry, BT. I apologize. Mistakes were made.
All right, so classes. There are tactical abilities. That's the pilot cloak. That's the pilot stim pack that gives you health as well as a speed burst. That's a pilot energy shield, and there are 7 of those, I believe, and they are actually tied to unique character models. So what's cool, just like the Titans in multiplayer, is if you see a robot with a little foxtail hanging off the back, you know that that guy can phase shift. So same thing with like the Scorch Core or the Ronin Core. You know the Ronin Core has a sword, so you kind of want to keep your distance. So it's about that readability, and that has been such a prevalent thing in recent FPSs with Overwatch. Seeing Tracer, knowing how to counter Tracer, seeing another character knowing exactly how to counter them based on that initial readability. That I love to see it in this genre. And with Titanfall, I think it's a very smart inclusion, and I commend the developers for that decision.
I got the reflection shield now. This is cool. You grab bullets and then you can toss them back.
Yep.
Slick.
You also have some flight. You can hit the triangle button, and you can jump up in the air.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And your core is actually the flight core, which shoots you into the air, and you kind of bombard chaos down there.
Nice. All right. I'm gonna give that a shot here.
The VTOL hover is interesting in multiplayer because you can actually kind of circumvent some geometry that would otherwise prevent you from going through it as a Titan.
That's what I was wondering.
IGN. This is from Cyborg Man, appropriate name. IGN, are there any hand-to-hand Titan fights? Yes. You can go up and you can just melee the crap out of Titans.
I'm gonna do it right now and wait till this guy comes down. Whoa, what is he doing? All right.
He's hovering.
Oh,
he's doing the hover core.
okay. All right.
There you go. Nice. Oh, went through his nutmegged him. But
all right, here. I'm gonna go punch him in the head.
Go punch him in the head.
Yeah.
Keep punching. Don't stop. Or just shoot him.
Oh, there we go.
That's better. So
tried to melee him.
You're tethered, by the way. You see that on your screen.
Oh yeah. How do I get out of that?
You
I just get a dash.
You hit it with a gun. You hit it with your melee.
Gotcha.
But in particular, the Ronin has a sword core. So in regards to that melee question, you can gotta pull out your sword, and there's a video of me on IGN. A boss will spawn. I hit the Ronin sword core, and I just go It's like a moment from.
Is that where you kill Richter? I think.
Yes.
It's one of those things.
Like that.
10 seconds. Yeah. I think I did see that.
He's like, you'll never destroy me. I'm so manly.
Except for in 10 seconds.
Like an angry man with a baseball bat, you just bash him into oblivion.
All right. Is that the right way to go or no?
That may be a secret area. That may also kill you. I don't know. Jump out.
I feel like I want to try going out of there, getting out of VT real quick. Just because.
Check it out. I would imagine this would lead to a helmet of some kind.
Let's find out.
Miranda Sanchez would know.
Let's see.
IGN, are there any power-ups? Batteries. You could consider batteries power-ups. It's a game that is kind of focused on you being your own power-up with abilities and cooldowns and stuff like that. Here we can see CJ Gibson doing a really great job
at wall running,
showing us
what not to do.
Just how dark this game can get.
There we go. I mean, that essentially ended up being nothing. If there is a helmet there, not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Jario Garcia wants to know, will Titanfall have DLCs? Yes. And they have said that anything weapon, Titan, or map-wise will be free after the initial purchase of the game. So the thing the developers do not want to do is give an advantage with a certain weapon or certain mech or a certain set of maps and divide their player base. So yeah, all that stuff is going to be coming post-launch, will be free if you purchase the main game. The stuff that is probably not going to be free and you will be able to spend real money on, asterisk, I'm not sure if this is the case, but I would imagine it is. That's the way you came from, by the way.
I was going to say, do I go back there or no?
I don't think so. I think you probably go the other way.
Jeez, okay.
Is aesthetic unlocks, maybe? There's a credit system, and the way that works is like you unlock the flatline rifle at level 45, or alternatively, you can pay 125 credits and unlock it forever, even if you prestige.
You know where to go?
Yeah, I think it's.
Is it
turn around?
Here? Is it back here? Just above?
And take a right here. That way.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, there's no like mini map that I was aware of. Actually, there may be. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
There were a couple times where I was like, where do I go?
Yeah.
But,
there's no like waypoints
markers
on the screen.
Which I am a big fan of. I have a vendetta against waypoints and markers in gaming.
You do not like them.
I do not like. I think they are terrible. I think they take so much away from interacting with the map organically, figuring out where you are. Now you have a sense of where you are.
Yes.
Now you have a sense you're in this room and there are these two exits. Now you have a mental map of that instead of just blindly kind of following this pip.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's one of those things, yeah, for speed and efficiency.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
Feel free to guide me, but yeah.
And for games like Destiny, where it's all just kind of about questing, and the real gameplay experience there is the PvP and the raids. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's fine there, but
Yeah.
anyway.
This looks pretty cool. The scope of these levels just huge.
Elias asks,
Huge.
did you know that the bird is the word? I did know that. I wasn't aware it was still the word. I thought it was only the word for like 2 minutes and 50 seconds. or
Oh
whatever.
man, please cue up a Family Guy clip right there.
Twitch, what's up, Twitch? Talk to me, Twitch. Praise Mitch.
There he is. Say hi, Mitch. There's Mitch.
Did they already play Dishonored 2? Yes. We had some developers in. You can actually check that out. All of our streams are available
Whoa.
in VOD form. Here's Ash. So this was the crazy.
Oh, sword guy.
She's kind of
Or
the
Dal.
GLaDOS.
Yes.
She's a robot. So
Voice. All right.
she's a genderless robot.
Here we go. We'll see how I fare.
A genderless,
We'll
soulless
check out
robot.
my Titan skills.
Flight core, flight core.
Ooh, flight core. All right.
Down on the pad.
And then.
Oh, did she disappear?
No, there we go.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Hit that right trigger, buddy.
Yeah, death.
I actually don't remember this fight at all.
I wanted to punch her.
Oh, she's got a sword, though. I would run into a battery. There you go. There you're doing some
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah. I want the final kill to be melee.
Well,
oh no! Oh, I'm almost dead though. Oh.
Get the battery, dude. Get the battery.
Where is it?
Your VTOL hover
Slide
over
up.
to it.
Let's slide up.
Shoot
Oh
her!
no!
Shoot
Oh
her!
no!
Shoot her!
Did I get the battery?
Shoot her! She's got a shield, though.
I expected so much more of you.
Oh, where am I at?
So CJ Gibson displaying how the boss fights can actually be challenging.
They can be challenging.
Mitch Saltzman just absolutely losing it in the background.
Oh, sliver. Oh my
I can hear him.
goodness.
I can hear his quivered screams and excitement.
He's judging me, as is the
Hey,
internet, but
you,
that's
you
okay.
just started playing the campaign.
All right,
so.
here we go. Oh, I see what you're saying. So the boss fight kind of does start right off the bat. That's interesting.
Yeah, this was nice. It didn't put you in the middle of it. There's one in particular that it's very difficult relative to the other boss fights, and you get into it, and then it just kind of is like, well, why don't we just take you from the phase 2? And you're like, no, don't do that.
You scared too easily.
Nice.
Wrecking.
Gotta get that battery.
All right.
Nice.
Impressive. Perfect.
I'm not anti-Matt on Twitch says I'm not a multiplayer kind of guy, but the first Titanfall was my fave PvP. Would I like this more or less? Yeah, absolutely. If you liked the first Titanfall multiplayer, this is just more of that with
Go
a couple
away,
of changes that are significant, and I do think are made for the better. It's divisive, so being like there are people who played the first game who don't like some of the changes, but you know I think that the developer Respawn has addressed so much of that feedback since beta that
Crushed.
multiplayer's in a really good spot right now, in my opinion. Good stuff, man.
Took an extra moment. I appreciate your patience.
The security lockdown has been
Cyborg Man wants to know, does BT have any emotion? That's a really tough question that sometimes you feel as though he does, and then there are other times where you're like, wow, that was a very emotional moment, and yet he said nothing emotional.
Right.
So
I will say he's definitely has emotional gestures.
Yeah.
And then also he's very comedic in his non-human understanding of
I think his
emotion.
emotional chip is meant more to reduce the stress of the pilot than it is to actually give him emotion.
Yeah.
I think he's always, his primary function is to keep you safe.
Yeah.
So if that means have overwhelming odds and he's going to prevent a panic attack, then that's what he does. Oh hey, we're getting to it. We got 10 minutes to get into this level.
All right. Do you want to give it a shot?
Yeah, I'm going to take the controls back and try and power
Alright.
through this because we are about to
Sounds
get
good.
into
There you go.
big spoiler territory, ladies and gentlemen. However, I will say that this is more of a gameplay first level.
Gotcha.
Where they establish a plot line and they capitalize on it in the gameplay.
That's cool. It feels good though.
Sure.
I mean, everything.
It's going to blow your mind.
There's
CJ.
there's a lot to learn, like with the D-pad, and there's
Sure.
a bunch of different pieces of that
We
puzzle.
got
that works.
10 minutes. I'm planning to use all of this 10 minutes to kind of get into this level and show you what it's all about. Going to
Do
try
it,
to
man.
get there as quickly as possible. Man, it's going to stink if we
might
get up
do it.
right
Might
to
do
the
it.
revelatory moment. All right, this is Affecting Cause. This is the best level in the game,
Nice.
far and away.
Major Anderson. investigate this facility. I will meet you on the other side.
So we need to investigate this facility.
Don't get captured again, BT.
This is, I guess, our mission. What the heck?
Oh, that's cool.
What is this? Oh my good, what's going on, guys? Good thing it's, oh,
What?
it's derelict again. That's weird. And BT very nonchalantly explains what's going on, and I think it's kind of hilarious.
So you having like flashbacks, or
Nope.
you're going back and forth through reality?
Here, let's ask BT.
There are distortions throughout this facility, and they appear to be causing a rift in time.
Oh, cool, of
I'm
course.
gonna jump on these nerds' head.
We will in fact safeguard.
The rift between time.
Everybody's on their iPad, not paying attention to the guy. But,
Oh,
so the way
that
that
is
this manifests
cool.
itself in terms of gameplay is like, for instance, that fan was totally active and I would have not been able to go through it in the past, but now since we are in the future timeline,
Right.
and you can do this mid-wall run, and we'll actually see how this kind of...
That is very cool.
Oh, there's also dragons in this level.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's big dragons and a bunch of other things like that in, yeah, a few of the Titanfall
Which
one
you don't actually get to
levels.
fight. Which is low. Well, maybe I can fight. They just kind of fly
Get
away.
on them, jump on.
What is this?
Jake
No,
Sully.
no, exactly.
It has multiple scientific research facilities throughout
Oh,
the
So
this
there's
looks
this structure in the background that's
crazy.
very
Wow.
ominous.
Do you control when it happens, or does it just happen randomly?
We'll find out.
All right.
How many of these facilities are there?
In the 8 standard months prior to Operation Broadsword, the 9th Militia Fleet captured or destroyed over 29 such installations.
Wow, that looks amazing.
So these are IFC research facilities that have been captured and destroyed by the militia,
They may still be alive.
and we're not really sure what they were used for. But this is indicative of the entire plot of the game. This is kind of where you figure out what you were trying to do to get a sense for what's happening. We can see a derelict robot there, and we have to go find our buddy who was in this facility, and we haven't heard from him since.
Okay.
And oh no, he's been thrown through the floor.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna take his helmet. Give me a helmet. What are you doing?
Uh-oh. Look up at him
Oh,
again?
Man, he looked really weird.
Yeah, he did.
It's almost as if he's been dead for a long time.
Yes.
Or maybe, oh no, he's got a
Or
thing
he's
on.
a robot or something.
BT, I found Anderson.
This is a
He's,
funny moment.
In the ceiling.
Objective complete. We have rendezvoused with Major Anderson.
Yeah. Does BT have emotion? Not
Very
always.
My intention was not humor.
All right, so now we kind of analyze his
Command of Special
his helmet.
Operation 217 now transfers to you. Congratulations on your field promotion, Pilot Cooper. The following is Anderson's mission briefing from Commander Sarah Briggs of the Militia SRS.
Major Anderson.
Who is she,
2
R2?
weeks ago, we
She's
intercepted
beautiful.
IMC
Exactly.
comms.
Yeah, there
Found
it is.
something on Typhon.
Couple moments
A
there.
massive blast of energy was discharged at this
Paying
location,
homage.
creating time
This oil bath
distortions.
is going to feel
I want
so
SRS on
good.
the ground to infiltrate the facility.
Roger that. I'll get
All right,
some
cool.
answers.
Nice,
So I
alright.
just received where we have a little bit more time.
During Operation
This
Grizzly
is
should
amazing.
protect you. We know the IMC have contracted Kuban Blisk and his mercenaries to protect something critical there. So watch your back. And Anderson, you know how much I love writing death reports, so don't go it alone. The SRS.
Don't worry, I'll be careful.
Pilot,
Some would
And
say that I'm going to stay
ceiling.
really grounded.
Yeah, there it is.
we are duty bound
There it is.
to fulfill Special
I'm going to
Operation
perform to the
217.
ceiling of
Recommend
my
we locate
potential.
Anderson's wrist
All right.
It's okay.
So now I have to go back, and I have to find.
I didn't see any device.
We
on
need a
Anderson.
device on his wrist,
other half of his course.
which provides the coolest gameplay.
I detect a breach in
The whole game.
security
Oh,
services
gotcha.
building.
Okay.
I will provide access.
On Anderson's?
Yeah. Oh, and this is also the first moment that we kind of see a recurring theme with BT where he throws things. And this is something that is revisited later.
That's awesome.
Nice. Maybe next time you can throw me.
Noted.
Foreshadowing there.
So now we're inside this facility.
Unauthorized personnel.
That's super cool.
Uh-oh. Oh! So both the future and the past have their own gameplay
versions of,
They have their own threats. The past version, which is actually like the clean one, has things like laser traps, sentries. The future version just kills you.
Yeah.
Now the future version has kind of these defunct robots.
L1 to disappear.
Oh, thanks.
Just
Thanks,
in case.
CJ.
Yeah, no problem.
What was the key to beating that boss, by the way?
And
not dying to
I don't know, Mitch. What are you talking about?
Here's a shotgun we can pick up.
Oh, there we go.
It's very powerful.
There's a key.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the weapon.
Were you using that before or no?
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna jump in here. Do a little bit of this.
Boom.
And so the future's threats are more in terms of like defunct robots as well as fire.
That's really
And we
cool.
can actually hear that they think that we have some kind of cloaking package. Little do they know, I am Time Boy.
That is really cool. I'm trying to think of another game that had a similar mechanic to this, and I'm not sure. I mean, there are moments of games, but this is really cool.
What's the chat saying?
What is the chat saying?
Are they crying foul about the spoilers?
Talk to us. Anything in the past?
There's his wrist.
Oh, there it is. Oh, this is what a cut screen, like a load screen. It's like, okay, literally, you're searching for the thing in his wrist on the other side of the video. It's like they were not joking.
We find out how that happened to him eventually too.
Does anything you do in the past show up in the future?
Oh man, we'll find out. That's a great question.
That is a
like
good
if like if
question.
you make a marking on the wall or something, you see
Yeah.
it in that. I don't know if it.
Pretty cool.
We'll see. But anyway, this thing we're taking off his wrist is the Apple Watch version 3007, and it has the remarkable ability to jump you back and forth. between
High
time.
resale value. Oh, there it is.
So,
Nice.
for instance,
John with good questions. Appreciate it, man. Oh,
come down
so
unscathed.
cool.
Uh-oh, there's lasers.
Now, is there any sort of use time parameters or how long
Nope.
you can use that for? Infinite. So you can go back and forth
Yes.
between each world without any kind of issue and without any kind of time restrictions. Did you just punch that guy with the watch?
No, check this out.
Oh, that just blew my mind. Oh. Okay, I cannot wait to go home and play this level.
it's
This
really
is
good.
awesome.
So you can kind of see where we should go. Like,
yeah, that's so cool.
that area is closed, but
I
can
thought
go
you
through.
actually punched the guy for a second. I was like, oh, right, time travel.
Man, there's
Of
a part.
course.
Oh man, I really want to get to the end of this level where it gets
This
crazy. And you
is
can kind of see
super
where people are
cool.
going to be
Oh,
over here. And
that's
actually, a little
cool.
bit similar to the thing that we saw with Dishonored 2, that mirror. Titanfall 2 first to market though, so GG.
Interesting. Okay, so then that is cool. Wow.
Gonna come in here. Get out of my way, bro. All
James Duggan, ladies and gentlemen.
right. So now
This
it's
is
two
my teammate.
shotguns.
Get out of here.
And we can see there's a bunch of GLaDOS-esque robots.
Oh man, I mean, that question that John had, it just makes me wonder. Yeah, like when you. Oh, that's super cool. When you
I'm
actually kill
stunned.
guys, does it like, do they stay in the world once you shift back and forth?
Well, we can see these are all like here, and they're already all
Yeah.
dead.
Okay. Oh, it's
What's in
very
this
cool.
room? Fire. I seen fire.
Time travel.
Time to spare, and then I can get away from that monster. So check this out.
So it does appear like time stops almost.
It does, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So it's
You
like
go
a
back.
time stopping thing.
It's not like they
as well as
continue. It's not like you can throw a grenade with a damage over time effect and then have it.
right. And
be
the
all
position that
good.
the animals. I was expecting him to have like moved when you.
Sure.
You know,
Whoa,
time
what the
warp
heck?
over, but it does stop.
Okay, ow. The cool thing is, like, when they do end up presenting you with threats in both, so you can't just go to one as kind of a safe area.
Right.
But the threats are usually a little bit less in the future.
Right.
Oh, except this guy is clawing me to death, which is not cool.
This is the future.
Totally weak. Yeah, this is the future.
This is the. So I was confused at the present.
Oh wait, no, sorry, this is the present.
Okay, yeah.
It's all relative.
Exactly. Where are we, James?
That's the thing about time.
Is it the past? Is it the future?
The question is, when are we?
Exactly.
So I just went through that closed door, and now I can kind of like use my. Well, that's the wrong way. We want to go up.
Seeing what the chat
So here we can
says.
see there's some fire that is preventing us from going through. So now we're going to switch to the past, and then go back to the future.
Somebody's asking, do you have a favorite Titan, or I guess within the context of the campaign using BT, where you can have multiple different cores? Yeah, is there a favorite?
My favorite for multiplayer is definitely Tone.
Okay.
I really like, that's the guy with the 40mm that you light it up, and every single one gives a pip on this 3-point combo system, basically, and then you're able to lock on with missiles.
Gotcha.
Ion is also just amazingly good anti-infantry.
Cool.
We're seeing our buddy over here doing stuff. I don't really care. LOL, lore RP nerds. No, I forget what he says there. Something important. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, I think I have to wait for this threats dude here.
Gotcha.
And actually, I think I actually just leave this room maybe. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
That's so cool.
Check this out.
Oh, is it lower level? Oh. Wow.
Don't kill me, guy.
Man,
Doing cool stuff here.
that is super cool.
So here we can see this is a core that is very important to the plot. And Anderson is coming over here to check it out. The cool thing about these
Anderson's log 342.
these holographs is they appear both in the present and the past.
Right.
So you can kind of switch between. But I'm actually going to look for ammo and weapons and stuff while he's doing his thing.
That is very
Does
cool.
the chat like this stuff? Are they enjoying this?
They do, yeah. That's super cool.
And there are a lot of
Intense.
these. You know, this is from a design standpoint. This is one of those action blocks. They said, hey, what if we had a level where you jump back and forth between time and encounter various obstacles in each? And you can, when you really think about that whole action block design philosophy, that's how the game plays. Let's see what. Oh yeah, I like the present a lot more for this. Any timeline without ticks is the one I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Or you just wait for them to blow up and then go back and forth.
Oh! I can actually kind of get behind here and screw these guys up if I wanted to, but I mean, why bother, I guess. They all die eventually. Everybody gets sucked into the void. Swap out my secondary for whatever these guys have. Ooh, a grenade launcher, cool. Okay, here's a laser wall. Oh, and this part is just fantastic. Check this out. Oh wait, this is not the part I'm thinking of. Never mind, look away. No.
Stop watching. Yeah, that is really cool.
Oh, here we go. Yes, this is it. All right, so you ready?
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh
Pretty
yes.
cool.
That is very cool.
And so I
the
will say, as soon as you finish this level, you go to hit the button, and you no longer have the device,
And you're like, why?
what?
Yeah.
I just actually want a whole campaign with just this thing. It is so cool.
That is very slick.
We can actually see here, this is where all the militia infantry are kept. And if we go to the future, right?
Oh, crazy.
So this whole facility was destroyed along with all the personnel.
Right.
And that's cool. That's a little narrative element. Oh, that was...
Oh,
that was
recovery, James Duggan!
They call me Time Cop.
FTW. Wow. And alternate universe. Yeah, very, very cool.
Oh, check this out. I can actually plant that explosive and like go over here to a good vantage point. Blow it up.
Very cool.
I have to go back though, because it's all terrible. Every timeline is bad.
Yeah, you're getting into
I don't like any of it.
multiple damage.
Press L1 to time
Damage
travel.
all around.
Thanks, game. I hadn't figured that out already. Press L1 to do the thing you've been doing for the last 5 minutes continuously.
We probably have about another 7 minutes.
Cool.
If you have any other questions, tweet at us.
We should be able to get to the end of this level, and there's a really cool finale with the traveling.
Yeah, send us a message.
Yeah, tell us what
YouTube
you
and
think.
Twitch. Let
Tell
us know.
Oh, geez, that hurts.
Yeah, so far, I mean, are you enjoying the campaign? I mean, this looks awesome. I cannot wait to kind
Very
of do
cool.
this at my own pace and like see
You're
these
gonna
last.
like this part. Ready?
Oh,
Here we go.
some wall run time travel. Oh no! Oh my gosh! Yes!
Pretty cool.
Oh, that is so good. Oh my gosh, that blew my mind.
Yep. And there's another one coming up here that they do such a good job of amping this
I
up.
almost don't want to see this. Oh, the walls. Oh man.
This is just it's great design.
Good.
That's all it is.
I'm now just watching and just trying to mentally lose it so when I play the campaign the next
here's
few
the last
days.
thing you'll want to watch. Oh wait. Okay, so there's a fan here, right?
Oh,
Here we
okay,
go.
okay.
That's it.
That's
oh
cool.
wait, I didn't live.
Oh.
Boo. Boo to that. I'm the master of time. I can't be killed by time. There we
That
go.
is
That's much
cool.
better.
Wow.
So that was a look at the Titanfall 1 campaign so far. We have
Man.
just coming up
Great.
on about 5 minutes here. If you have any questions about this, please let us know.
Super cool. I am impressed.
Yeah.
I am liking. Yes, I cannot wait to play this game later.
Yeah, and that's
tomorrow.
where this separates itself from the Battlefield 1 campaign. You know, Battlefield 1 campaign is what you would expect. Great, cool. You have some historical battles. You have very conventional gameplay. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But this innovates in ways that is interesting.
Yeah.
We can see how Anderson Cooper dies here. He tries to use his device, which doesn't work. Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. I mean, you know, we had a chance to. I mean, you chatted with him too during some of the private sessions with the Respawn guys. Just the thought and the detail that that they have in their meetings. Like I can only imagine being a fly on the wall. Like the concepts and the stuff that they come out with.
And supposedly they had a whole conventional campaign, or at least a lot of it, and they played it, and it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And there are developers out there who have that, and they're like, you know what? All right, well, we tried. It's good enough. Let's go. And then there are ones that are like, this is not good enough. Let's go back to the drawing board and figure out how to make this a good experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some of these elements here.
It's one of my favorite guns as well. This is a
pretty
double-barreled sniper rifle that has, you know, I don't know if you can actually get a scope for it in multiplayer, but it doesn't in single player. Anyway, I think that's probably. What do you think, Mitch?
Wow.
All right.
That's crazy.
Bring us back. Let the people see our beautiful faces. That was Titanfall 2. That was a look at the single player. That was Effect and Cause. My absolute favorite level in the entire multiplayer. There's a lot more set-piece moments. There's a lot more cinematic awesomeness, and a lot more of these action blocks that we were talking about.
Right.
CJ, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, man.
It was an absolute
Fun
pleasure.
times.
Everybody at home, thank you for tuning in. And for all things Titanfall 2, keep it right here on IGN.